Here we go, Thursday night, CrossFire. So, guys, I've been going back and forth here on the channel. Well, not just on YouTube, but over on Twitch. And so I've been kind of getting this new setup going. So I want to make sure the audio's all right. Eric, the producer, I know he may not be in the chat, but he's somewhere. He's always around, lurking. Eric, team out there. I see Brian East. Shout out to Mary Wilcox, Anonymous Boss. Great to see all you guys here tonight. Let me know if the audio's okay, everything is all right. Not just for me, but also if you can hear my panel, my great panel that I have with us. Shout out also to Nib, who couldn't make it tonight, and also DS couldn't make it tonight. Brap is, of course, big shocker. I think he's coaching somewhere with a whistle on him. Who knows what he's up to? The great Brap, everybody. Hopefully he's back with us next week. But we got a great show for you tonight. I'm very excited about it. Again, everybody seems to be hearing everything. Everything seems to be all right. Yes, please hit that like button. Please, guys, hit that subscribe button if you do not mind. It means the world to me, and it really does mean a lot to the channel. Shout out also to Anonymous Boss for the membership there. That truly is amazing. Welcome to the Mooch Maniac family members. If you would all look at that fantastic description right there above, that's the join button. That's how Anonymous Boss did it, and that's how you guys can join the family too. But let's see here. Oh, there's Eric. There's Eric, the producer. Mooch, you sound like a loud New Yorker. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and take that as a compliment. Always been waiting for my WFAN interview, Eric. If you can please get my resume out there, please. Yes, and thank you. Audio is good. Thank you, Mary. It's always great to see everybody here. What a great show we have for you. A lot of news happened in the last 48 hours, too. I'm sitting here on Monday and Tuesday, and I said, we're in the dog days of summer, and there's just not a lot of news. Then all of a sudden, the news gods happened. Everything just happened right away. But I like to start the show with a little something easy and interesting as we kind of go into it. But let me get this amazing panel on here. You guys are tired of talking to me. The great D-Batch is with us. D says to me, Mooch, I got, an hour for you. Now, what he doesn't realize is that between United States and Canada time, there's actually a half an hour to 45-minute buffer in there. So the great D-Batch is with us for almost 2 hours. D, great to have you, buddy. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Just enjoying the summer, and I'm glad that I kind of took off a month from videos just to enjoy the summer, get outside and do stuff. So it's interesting, all the news that's starting to. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. And to be honest with you guys, I'm catching up with like half of the audience too, so I'm excited to talk about stuff.
I'm excited too. Now, D, listen, I'll tell you, I think sometimes you're a bit away from the mic. You are cutting out a little bit, but we have to have you up to the mic tonight because I got to hear what you got to say, D. There's a lot going on, and I need my news from D-Batch. I don't know about you guys out there in the audience, but I do. D, great to have you.
Now.
There you are. Yes, you do that, D. We hear you. Thank you, D. The great J-Dub City's with us. Jay, I reached out and I said, Jay, can you hang out with us tonight? He says, Mooch, I'll be there. And I said, Jay, thank you very much because I saw him tweet something out the other day, and I said, I have to talk to this man on air about this situation. Jay, how you doing tonight?
Doing good. Can't complain, man. What a beautiful day. It's great to be back on Crossfire and chopping it up with Wolfgang and definitely my brother D-Batch.
Yes, sir. It's going to be a great night, Jay. Thank you very much. And the great Wolfgang is back with us. Wolf, listen, always great to have you on Crossfire. We all know that. But Wolf, are you doing a show tonight after the show?
Not really a show, but I do have a Tekken stream because I have to get back to it. and I got a new leverless arcade stick that I need to put through its paces. So
I see.
that's what I'll be doing
You're
later.
doing the research for us, Wolf, and we appreciate every bit of that, Wolf. Thank you very much. Guys, listen, this is why you're here tonight, okay? We've got a lot to say. I will say this much. The great Wise will be with us. Wise will be joining us at 7:30, and then at 8 o'clock, we have the Gaming Ledger joining us as well. It's going to be a fantastic show for you, and who knows who else might pop in. You never know. A couple invites are out there. We'll see what happens. But, Jay, I'll start with you before we get into the meat and potatoes of the week's news. Jay, you tweeted out that you finally received the Steam machine and controller. And Jay, the reason me and you were talking behind the scenes back when that became available, everyone knows that you have you have multiple powerful PCs. You've got your laptop, you've got your desktop, and now you have this device. Jay, I want to know just myself, and I think the audience would like to hear this, just from somebody who's actually using it, that doesn't have a paid promotion channel out there or got the Steam machine via Valve, and they've been running it and this and that, which, by the way, I've watched a lot of people that did get the machine, and they've been quite honest for the most part. I see some people that are just kind of fanboying out a little bit about it, which is fine. They seem to like it. Jay, for majority of people that listen to my show, and your channel as well, more console-based, but maybe they do have a PC somewhere in the house that they game on, but they say, you know what? I don't want to sit in an office chair. I don't want to sit in a monitor. No, I'm not going to bring my desktop out to the living room. How has this thing been treating you so far? I know we'll get into price in a minute, but let's talk about performance and games you've tried. What has been your thoughts and experience thus far? Is it worth it to you as we are sitting here today?
Well, I'll tell you this, Mooch. Listen, I've had about 2 days with it.
Yes.
I'm enjoying it. I think, right, if you remove price from it, I think this thing is great. It has my seal of approval.
Really? Okay, so what's...
And that says a lot.
Well, there's a few things to discuss here, right? So there's price, and we're going to get into price in a second. But I do want to talk to you a little bit about the performance. So I've watched enough videos where I'm intrigued, but I want to say this much. A lot of people are saying that the machine comes to you in a 1080p mode, right? So it comes to you in a 1080p mode, and you can ramp it up to like 1440p on certain titles to maintain that 60, but you have to go in and you have to kind of want to tweak it. You know what I mean? You have to want to play with the settings, much like you do with certain graphics cards and situations with your desktop. Not a lot of difference there. But, okay, someone's saying there's an echo. Ataku, I'm sorry. There should not be an echo. Is everyone hearing? Oh, it's you. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Sorry, but listen, look, we aim to please here on the show. So if somebody's having audio issues, that's fine. Not a problem. Jay, what do you think? What have you been doing? Have you been playing this thing on, first of all, what size television? 55, 65, 75?
To be fair, I've been playing it on a monitor.
Oh, you have been? Okay.
Yeah, an OLED monitor. I found a dedicated place for it. But I do have a travel case where when I travel, I get to take it with me and I get to move it around from room to room and stuff. So I'm just trying it out. Again, I've only had it for a couple of days. So, and I've downloaded maybe 10 games, the alters replaced, and I can go through the list of games that I've tried.
Have you played anything?
I wanted to start with...
Oh, go ahead.
So I wanted to start with like Replaced, which is it's a great game. It's an indie game, but I wanted to try that, and then I wanted to ramp my way up to the more demanding games. And I got to the game called The Alters, which I love. I have it on both PlayStation and PC, and I just got the new DLC that just came out. Whatever, it runs amazing on the Steam machine. I mean, amazing. Plus, you got frame generation. Obviously, you can ramp the resolution up and stuff like that. It's a nice machine to have, Mooch.
Okay.
It really is. I mean, I don't think anybody is going to take this thing and turn ray tracing on and act like it's a 50, 80, 50, 90. And if you're going to do that, shame on you.
Okay.
But one thing, we haven't got to yet, which eventually we have to get to, and that is that price.
The price is outstanding.
The price is everything, right? And so if they would have been able to get this machine around $600-700,
Mm.
I think it would sell. I mean, it would sell out the wazoo. I think it would be anybody would be able to pick it up.
You
But
know,
because it's not, now people have to say, well, do I take that $1,000, $1,500? You know, if you get the 2 TB edition, do I take that and go and buy me a gaming PC or a 5070 rig or something like that?
that's right.
That's only a question you can answer, right? But it's because I have powerful rigs and laptops and stuff, so this wasn't a make or break for me. But I can see me spending a lot of time on this machine. And it's I like it. I like it. I have nothing to praise for it.
So
I'm
just
not
so
disappointed
just so
so
everybody
far,
knows, Jay, just so everybody knows, and I know a lot of people in the chat are following this or were following it when it was big news a few weeks ago. But the 512 gig is 1,049 with controller, 1,128, 2 TB without controller.
Yeah.
1349 and a 2 TB with controller 1428, just so everybody has an idea. So now you said you've played games like Replaced and The Alters, and I know those games. I've played through Replaced myself. Those are not highly demanding games. You've already said that. Have you tried anything like the new Assassin's Creed or Control or something that would kind of be a Cyberpunk, anything like that?
So here's the thing. Haven't yet. The most demanding thing that I've tried so far is Death Stranding 2.
That's demanding. And how did it look?
Well, it runs. The fact that it runs and it looks good, but again, it's because you have frame generation. It's because you have the upscaling, FSR and stuff like that. That's why I think this machine shines. It doesn't have to be the most powerful. And then I know some people are going to give me flack about that because of because it's the price. If you're going to spend that price, you should be able to get. Yeah, absolutely. But again, am I trying to push this thing? I worked my way up from indies onto AA, and I'm working my way up to the big stuff to see where that trade-off is. But in the grand scheme of things, guys, you got to take into account frame generation and scaling is like, that's it. That's the baseline.
That's right.
Consoles, that's the baseline now. So it's not like we're ever gonna, in history, going forward, we're ever gonna be without that. But because that's available on this system, it really kind of pushes above its weight. If you look on the specs, when you look at the specs and you look at what it's capable of doing, I mean, I can't be mad at that. But then again, it should be able to do that because I've spent $1,000+ on it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said it will always come down to price. But if you spend the money for it, I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. At all. Then the fact that it has a micro SD slot where I take all my ROMs, my Sega Genesis and SNES and Dreamcast and PS2 ROMs and pop in there, and I'll be able to play it on a screen. I mean, it's like, dude, I was smiling like from ear to ear. And yeah, you can do all that stuff on your current rig. I get it, but I'm not comparing a gaming rig to this Steam machine. I know what I get when you're getting power efficient, small little box that you can put in your living room. You can take it with you. You can, it's like the little internet could. Just so happened the economy got screwed up, AI got screwed up, the chip manufacturer, everything else got screwed up, and the price of everything went through the roof. That's the only reason it's this price. Just like these consoles, we spent $399 for $499 for PlayStations and Xboxes for the last 6 years, and then the world goes to shit, and all of a sudden we're spending $900 for those same units. We can't blame the manufacturer for that, guys. We need to take that into consideration. That's just beyond of what our control, right? That's beyond their control.
Yes. So
but if you take it for face value. If you take it for face value of what it probably should have cost and probably what they targeted and what they wanted it to cost, it probably would have been around $600-700, which I will say without a shadow of a doubt, it's worth it.
Yes. Now, so I like the breakdown you just said there, Jay. And the reason, D, you're generally one of the people, D, that goes out and gets something the minute it comes out. D, I'm shocked. Now, are you on the waiting list for the Steam Machine, D? I'm not saying that because maybe you wanted it as a gamer consumer, but a lot of times you'll pick up some tech to do that on your channel. D, the one thing that Jay says that's interesting is the price to performance. Now, a lot of people are looking at the new prices and they're saying, well, wait, the price to performance doesn't make sense. I can go get myself a PS5 Pro. This is a true statement. That is a true statement. But D, right now, if we're talking about just Valve themselves, you've got the Steam Deck, and the Steam Deck is $800, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I know it went up, right? So D, for $800 for a Steam Deck, now for $1,000 or $1,050, if you will, for entry level, to be able to have something that is much more powerful. People were saying, I think Valve said they were trying to specify 6 times the Steam Deck, and I think a lot of people, I watched a lot of videos, like I said on this, and I saw 5 times, which is still 5 times more powerful than the Steam Deck on a lot of different tests. That'll vary game to game, by the way. And, you know, for that little bit more than the Steam Deck right now, only in the Valve world. D, is this something that you heard, Jay? Is this something that you think you might pick up down the road?
So, first of all, I just gotta make a quick comment. I saw a video the other day of an Xbox content creator talking about an $800 Xbox, which I just think is madness.
Yes.
When the prices of everything, including the Steam Deck, including the Steam Machine, which on paper has a lot less specs than the Helix device, yet Helix is coming out at $800. Whatever.
Oh, no way.
I'm on the waiting list for it, so I did go into the queue and everything, and I'm on the waiting list, and looks like that waiting list is long.
Yes.
Am I excited for the machine per se? I gotta say, not really. And you know, I have a little bit of bias here because I build PCs, so I can build a PC
I got
better
you.
than the Steam Machine in my sleep upside down. So it just, for me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like I have a 5070 Ti in the bedroom.
Oh, okay, yeah. But then
I have a 9070 XT mini IT PC, and of course, I got the big 59. So like it doesn't appeal to me. And if I want to go the Steam OS route, I can dual boot any one of my systems. So for me, it's not as enticing. I'm getting it more for like the channel, test it, to compare it and whatnot, right? But otherwise, I wouldn't get one. Now, with that being said, the performance that it gives you, it's not bad, and you know, it's the price is expensive here in Canada. Like that thing is like $1,500 or something here. It's ridiculous. So it's not even like affordable. You can buy a PC for like, I don't know, maybe $1,300, or even say the $1,500 that you're paying for the Steam Machine. That is like twice the performance. So it just doesn't make sense. Now, where it differs over the PlayStation 5 Pro for me is the CPU. Now, the CPU is better in the Steam Machine, so you're going to be getting some pretty good frame rates. And like Jay said, you're getting frame generation. You're getting FSR, and FSR is now good. It's not garbage anymore. So you're getting a good experience, and you're not going to have to sacrifice anything. Nothing's going to give you 30 FPS. Everything's going to run 60 FPS. So I can see the appeal of someone wanting to play their Steam games on it. For me personally, it's that price, man. I can't get past that price point. I just got to be honest. That's like my stance on it. Good machine, price point sucks.
So D, you're saying that you're on the wait list, so you're going to do your due diligence, right? You're going to go ahead and test this thing out for the channel, check it out.
Yeah.
But then I'm from what I'm hearing from you, after you're done with your test, you're probably selling it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's
D. I want to say this,
right, Wolf.
Let me say this one thing. Just remember, there was a ton of people online that were going out buying these Asus ROG Ally units, right? These Xbox units that was $1,000, and I didn't find that worth it. So it's kind of an eye of the beholder. Things are just expensive, but I would get a Steam Machine before I get a ROG Ally any day.
Same.
Yeah, it's much more versatile. Yeah. I
just want to see people who spend $1,000+ on a ROG Ally or a Legion Go or MSI Claw turning their nose up at the Steam Machine when it's like, hey, listen, that Steam Machine is a better product.
I have the original ROG, and
Yeah,
I put a 4 terabyte SSD in there.
yeah,
I have zero FOMO for the. That is good enough for what I needed to do. I can do SAR
yeah.
on it. It's good enough for what I need to do. It plays everything fine. Then
Yeah.
the new one, I don't know, because it had a Xbox tramp stamp on it. People went out and thought it was the next
Well,
best thing. When, like, in reality, I think it was only like maybe 20% better performance
Yeah.
overall. So yeah,
but it's
man.
also like what you're going to be using the device for, right? Because like I have the original ROG Ally, not the Xbox ROG Ally, the regular ROG Ally, which I got for like
White one,
$700. Yeah. No, the Ally X, the expensive one, but
Oh,
it
the
was
black one. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the black one. Yeah, the one,
Yeah.
the upgrade that they made. But
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm with D. I have no vested interest in buying the Xbox ROG Ally. I mean, because like, what do I play on those things? I usually play my JRPGs, my turn-based games, my low taxing games on those devices, and that's what I want it for. Like, if I'm going to play something with all of the bells and whistles and everything, then I need a powerful PC or a console to play that thing. So yeah, I'm not going to play those games on a handheld. And I think the Steam Machine also sort of fits that same type of play style. Like if you're like just trying to access your low level type, your JRPGs, your turn-based games, your story driven type of, games, etc.,
Yeah.
that are not so taxing on you. I think it's a good device, but for 1200, I mean, I was on the wait list for it as well, but I let up for it because it was like $1,300 for something that will play the same games that I'm playing on my ROG Ally. And I mean, I'm already doing that, so I don't need to spend $1,200 if I don't have to. So,
Yeah.
then that's what I use it for. So
So
that's
Wise, I like that you chimed in there because while you were on your trip vacationing, you did show us a lot of photos. By the way, thank you for sharing that. That was awesome in the DM. That was like amazing to be able to see what you and the family were experiencing. But you were gaming a lot. Now, the one thing you had your handhelds out there with you, but at the same time, you were playing games that I know what you like to play. I know that you like Dragon Quest. I know that you like games like that. You like turn-based games. I think handhelds, maybe even to a higher fidelity on the Steam Machine. I've seen a lot of, like I said, I've watched a lot of coverage on the Steam Machine. Just curious on how everyone was going to kind of receive it. Wise, is the Steam Machine something that it fits into your family, your mold in the way that you game, or not really? I saw some channels tell people to go out. Jay, put your seatbelt on for this one, Jay. Some channels were telling people, go out there, and I would rather see you buy a $1,000 handheld that's very powerful, a very powerful handheld that you can dock and play on your TV, right? And you're better off doing that than getting the Steam Machine. Wise, would you kind of co-sign something like that, or no?
Because, well, see, here's the thing, right? Like, I'm 51 years old, and my situation right now with my wife is like this. She controls the main TV of the house whenever she wants to watch, but I'm with her. I need to, we sit next to her. This is our QT time in the day, like, a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So I use that device so that, like, I'm watching with her freaking soap operas, whatever she watches. I don't even pay attention to what she's watching. And I'm sitting there playing my game on a portable device. And then once she goes and calls it a night or whatever, I'll go upstairs and play on my my consoles, my more powerful ones. The games like I want to play, like your Halos and your, Assassin's Creeds and all of that other stuff. So for me, a Steam Machine is a pointless purchase for that reason, because it's going to occupy the TV.
Yes.
And it defeats the purpose of it. It doesn't give me the portability that I'm looking for. And it's only going to play the same quality of games that I'm playing on my handheld. And it doesn't even have the mobility portion that I like the handheld for. So for me, it's a non-buy.
Yeah. You gotta understand what it's for. Like for example, I mean, maybe it was just a bad comparison. The only reason I brought up the whole handheld portion was because the price was in the realm, in the same ballpark. But under no circumstances, if you're looking for mobility, then this is not even on your radar. But if if you want a secondary PC or something to tinker with, or, something to play some modern games and stuff like that without worrying about, getting a 5090 or 5070 or 80 and all that stuff, like it's a great box. It'll play all the games that you want to play.
But
And
will it play
again,
modern games though? That's my question. Will it play? Will it be
yeah,
able to run Assassin's Creed
it'll
Resynced and stuff like that?
yeah. It's. I mean, you just get on YouTube and do it. Here's the thing. For my PC, I don't play console ports. I don't play games that's made for a console that's ported to PC. I don't play that. My PC is exclusively for PC games. So that's why I'm different. I'm not trying to supplement my PlayStation. I have a PlayStation for that, right? I got a Pro for all the other stuff. My PC is for my racing rigs, for games that I can only get on PC. But that's just me.
Right.
So I'm not, again, your money will be rather spent on a PlayStation or Xbox. If you just want to play the average game that's out there and just be in the mix, this is not the product for you. But if you're in a PC type ecosystem and you like tinkering and you like doing this, it has frame generation, it has the upscaling, it has all of that where it can run, all of those games, and it's up to you on what resolution you want to play and how you want to. I mean, that's the whole purpose of a PC, right? That's the whole purpose of PC gamers. Always talking about being able to tinker and this and that, and you can all these frames, you can do this and that. I mean, that's the whole purpose. And now that, to be fair, now that the next generation console is going to have frame generation and all that stuff. It's like it's almost becoming a wash. At this point.
Well, also,
it's a nice little unit.
I think there's like levels to it, and like I'll agree. I have the ROG, and if I want, I can hook that into the TV. I have the dock for it. I put my Xbox controller, hook it up to it, or any controller that I want.
Right,
and it works fine. It works fine that way. So if I'm like a tech savvy or a tech enthusiast that already has a device, something like this is going to be less appealing. But for the guys that want to get into PC and price doesn't matter, they just care about the form factor and that it's Steam.
The ease of use.
These are the guys that are getting it. I think there's some enthusiasts getting it. I think there's some
I want
to fun boys getting it, and I think there's some console guys that just want to have a PC experience without
But it also
everything PC.
But it also boils down to we're all adults here. We all have jobs. We all have other time commitments in our day to day. There's only a finite amount of discretionary hours that we can devote to gaming. At least, I can devote to gaming.
Right.
And so the question arises: okay, is this box that I'm intending on buying going to enhance the experience I already have with my consoles and my handheld? And if the answer is no, then it is a no buy for me. I play mostly console games like your Halos and all this other stuff that comes out on either Xbox or PlayStation. It doesn't matter, or Nintendo. I don't want to spend the time to go down the rabbit hole of World of Warcraft or any of that other stuff. And I don't have the time, to be honest with you. So why would I spend $1,200 to buy a box that parallels a console experience when I have two freaking consoles that are better at doing a console experience than that box will ever be?
I think when it comes down to, so I'm kind of the hybrid here. I'm a little bit of what Jay's saying, and Wise, what you're saying, I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons that a lot of console gamers aren't jumping head first, besides the price. But I typically play the PC games that I play, or when I want to get those, competitive games, playing multiplayer games, 240 hertz, really get that experience out there. But every once and again, I'll get codes for only Steam or this and that for review. And it's like, I have this library on Steam, like Replaced, for example, I got a code for it. It was on PC. So I played it on my PC, but that's something that if I had the Steam machine in my living room, I would like to be able to play that. And I think a game like Replaced would play very well on the Steam machine, right? It's not very intensive, right, D? So there's enough in the catalog.
Is that worth $1,300?
Right. Well, that's the question.
Price, that was one thing, but $1,300?
That's the question. And that's why I don't co-sign it for anybody. The minute somebody says, I'm out, I'm not paying that, the discussion, it doesn't end, but I'm saying you're not going to push anybody into that. Doesn't make any sense. I get it. For me, you're actually spending that money on the convenience factor. It's a convenience factor. I think even if you go and watch the big PC channels that are doing reviews on Steam Machine, they'll tell you they're still playing on their PC, their powerful PC, probably 80% of the time. They enjoy having this thing. Jay even says it. Jay and I, we both travel sometimes for work, and to be able to take a PS5 with you on the road, let's just be honest, it's not that convenient. And Wise, unfortunately, I have a Steam Deck, I have a PlayStation Portal. I do use it, but let's also call it what it is. It's still something that I gotta be honest with you. I don't want to play long sessions on a small screen looking down. It hurts my neck. It hurts your back. I'm like, it's just, and plus your eyes. It's like I can't get fixated on that. So this cube is something that you could pack easily into a backpack. And we used to joke about it all the time. Rooftop gaming, right? You can go and take this thing on the road, and it is feasible. So it is a convenience factor. Now, would you guys argue with me and say, Mooch, I'm not paying over $1,000 for convenience? Guess what I say? You're right. You're right. But if you have that expendable money, then, I could see this is for some people. What I'm shocked at is I don't think they made a lot of them, because there's, like D just said, he's on the waiting list. He's been waiting forever. He might be waiting until December. My point is like, it
said 2027.
Okay, 2027. I mean, don't get me wrong. And by the way, that sounds like a very long time from now, which it's a good distance, but hear me out. It's not like Steam Machine 2 is coming out, or Steam Machine 3, if you will, is not coming out in a couple of years. This is a 5-6 year machine at least. So getting it in January, February of 27, you're still going to get your money's worth if that's the case. Wolf, I think I already know your answer, but Wolf, what's your take? You've heard Jay, what he had to say. You heard Wise and how he plays a lot of handheld gaming, and he's not opposed to certain dollar amounts for convenience, but this wasn't his bag. Wolf, where are you on this in the world of PC? I know that you do some dabbling in PC gaming.
Honestly, it's unless I'm playing modded Resident Evil, that's the only reason why I touch a PC at this point.
Right. So this is an absolute no for you.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. I mean, the only handheld I really deal with is a Switch 2 and my Portal, and just like you, Mooch, I'm not trying to do very long sessions with those.
Right.
So.
Yeah. It's so shout out to the governor. I appreciate him back. He's back again. Governor, I will ask the question. I don't know what it means, but maybe D Batch knows. We have the great D Batch with us. D, maybe you can translate this for me. The governor says, Mooch, please ask the panel if they can leave these legacy IP, Big Three, etc., for an ecosystem that has game ownership. Is it laziness, price? What is it? I know what he kind of means because we've been talking over the past couple weeks in the chat. But like, are you saying, Governor, that you're saying can we leave the Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox ecosystem for an ecosystem that allows game ownership? The only one that I really know that's like that, D, is that what is it? GOG? Is it green?
It doesn't give you real ownership. Let's not kid ourselves.
None of them. Everything has been this way for a long time. Everything is a license attached to disc, or you have online checks in certain games. I you know what? Honest to tell you, until it becomes a problem, I'm just not going to worry about it. I have all my games on Steam that are, for the most part, for PC, and I'm not really worried about it, man. Some of these older games, if I lose access to them, yes, it would suck. I'd be pissed off. But at the end of the day, like, how many of these older games, right? So I think people just freak out a little bit over nothing. Like, I understand to the nostalgic people that they like to play physical media, but a lot of games, I don't want to say Sony, because Sony still puts their games, but a lot of Xbox games are on the disc, but they're not. It's just like a license.
It's a license, right?
So I hear you. I understand, and I think if the only person that might hang on is maybe Nintendo, and even they have those game cards that
for the most part for Nintendo, right. It's just their first party games that are actually on the cart, because a lot of these third party games are going to be inevitably larger in game size, and they won't be able to fit them on the carts anymore. So Nintendo's really the only holdout. But if a gun was put to the CEO's head tomorrow and says, "Hey, are you willing to leave digital?" He's going to say yes. I mean, he's going to say yes to go to all digital. He's going to leave physical behind.
It's just the way it's going. It happened the same way with music. We consume music. Like who the hell really uses a CD player anymore? go buy a new car. There's no CD player to be found.
Yeah, there isn't one. I don't think and my year is going to be wrong here, but I've been asking a lot of people just because this has come up, and I've just been asking random people, anybody that I know that owns a car, 2020 or later. I'm like, did your car happen to come? Because I don't know if Hyundai and Honda and Ford and Chevy and Mercedes and BMW and I don't know who put what where. And everyone said to me, no, I don't have a CD. I don't have a CD player anymore in my car. That's go ahead, Wolf.
Before I had a car that actually had the whole touchscreen interface and all that. Listen, I was hooking up an aux cable to my iPod for years.
Yes, same.
And until the phones had enough storage for all the music, or then the Apple Music came along. Like, yeah, it's been decades since I actually put a CD in a car.
Yeah, and see, that lies the problem of it all. Okay, people are talking about the PS6 and the next Xbox, whatever you want to call it, Helix, if you will. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, yeah, we should have a disc drive. They'll have a disc drive. We can play our older games. We can get physical. We can play it. Okay, then what? The PS7 definitely won't have it. The next iteration of the Xbox, if there is one, and definitely, eventually these consoles, if they still make consoles, will come without a disc drive in it. Then what are you going to do?
Inevitable.
It's just the nature of the situation. You can't change things. I mean, it's like he's sitting here and they say, and this is what I was saying even last night. I tweeted on this. I said, look, they knew this. These companies are not stupid. They got multi-billions of dollars here, and they got people on staff, on payroll, much smarter than we are. Do you not think that they came up with this calculated assessment as to, okay, we're going to get a huge backlash? They just ran the numbers and said, okay, well, what is the worst of it can happen? 1 million, 2 million, even 3 million.
Yeah. Look at what Capcom just said. 93% digital.
Exactly. It's like at this point in time, you're trying to basically stave off the flood with your thumb. That doesn't make any sense. You're not going to hold back it. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, I like the valiant effort. I like the, stick it to the man and,
right.
Down with all that. I like that, it's,
what people should be complaining about and campaigning for is that, okay, if you're going digital, lower the damn prices, because so many costs are cut out by going digital. Even I can understand GameStop and Walmart and these places being upset. I can understand that. The average gamer, they don't care. You know why they don't care? Because they're buying digital. The guys that do care, I'm not saying it's not valid that they're upset. Sure, it's valid, but I'm trying to say they're the minority. Very loud, but they are the minority. Does it suck? Yes, it does suck. But who dictated this? Gamers dictated this by purchasing like over 90% of their games digitally.
Yep. Yeah.
The bigger concern is digital ownership, because now there is nothing out there that basically tells these companies that can come in and say, okay, I could come in and take Wolfgang's his whole PlayStation catalog and make it non-funked or non-existent where he can't access any of it. And unfortunately, Wolfgang's going to have to swallow it,
Yeah, that sucks. They need to do something about that.
I'm not doing any of that.
They need to do something about that.
Pause.
That is the problem. That is what people don't seem to understand. It's not physical versus digital. It is, we have no laws in place stopping these corporations from going in and heavy-handedly just zeroing out our entire library if they decide to do so. There needs to be laws in place for this now that we're going down this rabbit hole.
That should be the fight. Right there.
That's exactly it. The fight for digital rights, and that's kind of what I wanted to switch over here, is this discussion on digital sales are growing. And I see a few people, shout out to, real quick here, I just want to go back up for a second here. The Elemental Hero, he says here, and he said earlier, let me see if I can find his earlier one. He says, Mooch, he says Jet, but he goes, you own a game, it's on your shelf. I think he meant bet. You own a game, it's on your shelf. You don't worry about the issues of internet crashes, data breaches, hacking, losing your account, and other issues that debatch. And then I think he scrolls down here, and I'm just trying to finish. He says he didn't read the full report.
That's false.
Yeah,
There's not a single game that has the entire game on the disc in the current version. You always have to download something if you want the game to be up to date. There's not a single game that doesn't receive a patch for anything. Like that's part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that
you go and buy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and you have a PS5 Pro. Guess what? You don't get those PS5 Pro features until you download the latest update.
Right. And a lot of the games that people are playing these days are online games. So when people say, I think, indeed, I just want to say, the questions for the panel here. I agree. I think the fight now needs to be what Wise was saying, our digital rights, right? To make sure that what you do by the license, okay? That's ownership. We need to be able to preserve that. We need to make that safe for us, also our accounts. But what I'm saying to you, though, is when people are like, Mooch, aren't you worried about the internet going out and then you can't play? Listen, I got news for you. If the internet goes out in the house, I mean, it's like the zombie apocalypse hit around here. You know what I mean? Like video games are like the least of your problem, right? It's the last thing you're worried about. The internet goes out. You know what I mean? So I do think we need to worry about game preservation. I think we need to worry about ownership of digital rights. That's where the fight needs to go right now.
And prices.
And prices, correct. And D, because you said that the whole point of leaving the discs back in the day when we had this discussion last generation was, well, if it goes digital, the prices should go down. Now the argument is, they need to charge us more because salaries are higher and to keep the lights on is more.
Stupid.
And it is.
Yeah, that's not my problem.
That's a them problem. That's right. So the prices are the other point. D, go ahead, Wise. You were going to say something.
Also, this whole move to digital has been in the making for a very long time, and it even predates the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Because think about it, just the natural progression of storage media. We went from 8-track to VHS to cassette tapes to CDs, CDs to DVDs, DVDs to Blu-rays. After Blu-rays, there was a basic stop in storage medium. Basically, that's it. I mean, after you went to flash drives, that was it. There was no more portable or movable storage medium enhancements ever done. And that was where you saw the writing was on the wall, because there's only a finite amount of space that even a high-end double density Blu-ray can store. And we're already maximizing that, overreaching it already. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, so people sitting here and saying, "Oh my God, we need to fight for these physical games and everything." No. They were trying to transition out physical media for the longest time. That is why they stopped doing any research in storage medium formats and stuff like that. So you're not going to win this battle. This is not a
well. Yeah, it wasn't just gaming though. Like the entire tech industry just did not care for a new medium for anything, for computers, for anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Just flash drives and SSDs. That was it. That's the only thing they focused on.
So Chris Coleman doesn't agree with you, Wolf. He says, does it play? Why do people consistently lie? Patches are not required. Stop using outliers as the rule. It's already been proven that 96% of PS5 games can be played from the data disk without patches.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not the version I want to play.
Right, and
I want to play the version. I want to play the version where things are fixed. The things that are fixed are not on that disc, and DLC and everything else that comes along. And Chris, after certain games, Chris, you know what?
Yeah, Chris, you know what? You know what Wolf's saying there is true. Like, there's games that I own on physical media. You'll put it in there, and it'll say there's an update, right? So now you're right. Without the update, it could be a bug fix. It could be something where trophies don't pop. It could be other. You may say I don't care, Mooch, and that's fine. That's your right. That is your right.
Yeah.
But I'm with Wolf. I do like to have things fixed.
I remember back in the day, you could get the files on USB and you could just update that way.
Yeah.
I honestly thought I thought gaming media was going to eventually move to like a USB flash drive system with a read-only device, and that's it. That's how you would either play your games off of it or it would install off of that, and we just never went there.
Yeah, it's interesting to me. So the other question I had for you guys is, none of the publishers are really coming out, right? All the other publishers are all standing down. They're not saying it. They're all saying the same thing. Oh, it would be sad. It'll be, that'd be a detriment. But, we're seeing that. So they, of course, and everyone knows, everyone says, well, Mooch, no kidding. They make more money that way. Of course they do, right? So this is, PlayStation was it's always the first one out that's going to get slapped. And they're also the ones that are the main producers of CDs, right? And DVDs. So they're going to get that hate. But
they shouldn't be getting that hate because Microsoft went all digital way before PlayStation did. People just don't know about it. PlayStation still, when they made their disc, there was a market component of the game on that disc. A lot of the discs that were made for the Xbox One generation were just digital codes.
Yes. And into this generation, yeah.
And it wasn't a space issue at that time. Exactly. That's just the way they decided to do things.
Right. But people would argue, but you can still sell that. Even though it is a digital code on there and it's just a key, you could sell that. That's the one thing people are saying is resale ownership.
That is very true. But then these same people want to throw the internet argument into it. What if the internet goes out? Well, guess what? That disc is useless because you can't download the game.
Yeah.
Can anyone play Cyberpunk, the original DVD or the Blu-ray that first came out when they first launched the game? Can anyone play that on their PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X? Without the download, I would challenge you not. So I mean, how do you play
Halo? Exactly. You cannot play Halo Campaign Evolved without the internet. You try to launch the game when there's an update out, it won't let you launch the game.
Yep.
So it's this part of things is inevitable, and I think another big hit to this whole physical crusade was the GameStop CEO coming out saying, it doesn't affect us. It's not even our biggest part of our business. And I was like, ooh, that's not what these guys wanted to hear.
Shout out to the governor. He says here, and Governor, no, you're not limited to one super chat per show. We were just having a conversation. The governor comes back and he says, do gamers really want freedom? ? He says, low cost, built-in emulation, discs, platform exclusives. I'm asking if all your desires are answered. Is it yes? Well, Governor, unless are you going to go head to head with PlayStation, Nintendo, and Xbox? I think everybody would sign up for what you're saying for the most part, but I don't know what you're recommending. Is it software based? I don't know where you're going with it. And I said this last week. It's not that, I like what you're saying, but that's like saying, can we stop? Governor, let me ask you, would you like to stop world hunger and famine and we could cure every disease out there? Like, you would say, Mooch, absolutely. Where do I sign up? And I'll be like, well, just hold that thought. We'll be back next week. It's like, well, where are we going with it? Yes, those are all things that we would all like to do. I would also like to hit New York's lottery. There's a lot of things I'd like to do. How do I do it? How do we do it, Governor? Tell us, please. Mariko says BMW tried to charge a seat heating subscription on their cars. I remember reading about this. Shows that corporations are trying to scam their customers when given a chance. Mariko, absolutely. But I think the market talked and the market said, absolutely not today, sir. So that did not work out. Shout out to JC 2013. Refund policies need to be looked at ASAP. That is true.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that.
That is true. Again, go ahead, Wise.
That's the problem that I have here. It's like, I am not a big proponent of big government, but unfortunately, these are corporations that you're dealing with, and that's what that's what the average person doesn't seem to understand. These corporations are not in it to be all kumbaya with you. You are just a means to an end. And I mean, that's the thing. That's what I think what people are chasing here is like, it's kind of like, oh yeah, pay attention to this, while the real problem is being totally neglected here, and that's what I think is the biggest problem here. The people don't really understand that, yes, you're not going to win this physical versus digital war. The writing's on the wall. Forget you. My kids don't care. And that is the upcoming customer base. They don't care. So the point being is that that's what they want you to do. They want you to sit there and fight and argue about, can you press this on a disc? Can you not press this on a disc? Can you press? Knowing very well that half the people who are asking this damn thing to be pressed on a disc are not going to buy the damn disc themselves, Mm-hmm. So, but the problem is that they're sort of that this is being basically a ruse against the real problem, which is you don't own shit. Period. Whether you own the disc, whether you don't own the physical disc, you don't own shit. Well, and that is what needs to be discussed.
So
look what happened with Xbox this week. They had an outage. People are saying their physical disc didn't work. That's a problem.
Right. That is a problem. So Trent and Wolf, while we have you on the show, Trent, you said something. He says, I'm talking to non-fighting game players. LOL, never mind. We have one of the best fighting game players in the community on the panel tonight, and Wolfgang. Trent, what was your question? If you don't mind repeating it in the chat.
Does he think I only play fighting games?
No, that was not. No, it was Wolf. Wolf, it wasn't just at you, but he's like, I'm not speaking to fighting game gamers. Wolf, you are one of the best. So I want to hear what Trent's question was. I scrolled up a bit, but I didn't see it. So Trent, if you don't mind writing it again, I'll poise the question to Wolf if you had it. Yeah, I don't know. I think when
I realize how many platinums I have. They're not fighting games.
I was just gonna. Well, that too. I think he was asking you. He says, who is still playing base day one Diablo 4 or even Resurrected? Good God!
Oh well, people. Yeah. I mean, yeah, all those games.
Right.
Base version is not going to do anything for you.
So there it is. Governor says here, Mooch, Sovereign Game Network solves the no network problem. Well, we'll have to look into it then, Governor. I'm not really sure. I have not looked into it. Maybe that's a me problem here. Elemental says, I mean, Mooch, the panel is missing I think he means point. You have other countries that don't have good internet services, and Sony tried to block Helldivers and Marvel Token. I mean, Elemental, I hear you, and I think that is a problem that they need to work on. But as you can see by buying trends, I don't know if that's necessarily translated into, because think about it, would Sony want to leave money on the table? They're leaving some money on the table, but apparently they're okay with that amount of money. I don't know. There has to be a delta there that we don't know about, you know? Mm-hmm. So you bring up great points, Elemental. I don't think you would see everybody making this move. And the thing about it is a lot of people don't like to talk about it, but like J-Dub, you've mentioned it, Jay, in a lot of chats that I've seen you in, is that once GTA 6 comes out and it's only going to be digital only, a lot of people really aren't going to, I don't know if you're going to hear a lot of people boycotting that.
People didn't boycott Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah.
We didn't even have to wait for GTA.
That's true.
Yeah. Remember, everybody was supposed to be boycotting PlayStation. And as soon as Microsoft announced Black Ops 1 and 2, the thing skyrocketed past GTA 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, listen, I hate to be that guy, but sometimes it is what it is. The people have spoken. I think a lot of people have spoken.
I agree. Yeah.
It sucks.
And that was a digital only game.
Everything. Yeah, it sucks to be left out, right? And listen, Microsoft tried this back in 2013, right? They tried this the direction they were going to go in. Unfortunately, it was just, they were ahead of their time with Xbox then with trying this stuff. Now it's 15 years later. Like, every movie you watch is from Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. I feel like those people, which is it's unfortunate. Sure, Sony probably should keep printing it, keep going, even if it's just one customer. Keep going, because it's the pro-consumer thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, the way of the world is already spoken.
Jay,
right?
You've been on the show enough. We've had a lot of people on the panel over the past year, and again, it wasn't the main topic. We were kind of talking it in reference to down the road, and we talked about it on the show many a times. And we were like, the conversation of digital only, because at the time we were talking about how PlayStation was doing the attachment on the side for the physical drive. And somebody said on the show, this is way before this came out. This is way before this news came out. This was like a year and change ago. And somebody's like, oh, well, the situation is eventually we're not going to have a physical disc. And people, I remember saying, I'm like, well, when do we think that'll happen? Mm-hmm. And everybody was like, PS7. And we were all, listen, by the way, I agree. I was like, oh, yeah, definitely. Because they just came out with this attachment for the end of the PS5. I'm like, oh, PS6 will definitely have this, right? They bona fide this. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And then we'll have it for PS6, and then PS7 will be its own thing. And a lot of people were like, yep. So everyone knew it was inevitable. I think where everyone got, we'll use the word rug pulled out, is because everyone didn't see it coming this soon. They thought it was going to be another 7-8 years from now. Not now. The thing is, though, what I'm telling all the people
to be fair,
it was inevitable.
People acting like it happened today. It's like Sony basically told you next generation our console is going to be digital only. They told you 2028, right? And that's
Mhm.
about the time when the PS6 is going to come out. So you still got your PS5. You still have those options there. It's just the next generation. If you're all about physical, then PS6 might not be the way to go. But then again, I don't think Xbox is going to be the way to go either, because they're probably going to do the
Well,
same
yeah,
thing. And
that's the thing. I mean, everybody can go ahead and
what
hate.
option do you have?
You can hate on
Just, you know?
PlayStation. You can hate on, but the Xbox is going to do the same thing. Xbox has been wanting to do this since
Yeah.
2013. You know,
The
they want.
biggest sign was the fact that they came out with a PS5 and Xbox that was digital only. That should have been your
Yeah.
for sure sign right there.
Yeah.
You know, Silverwolf says something, and this is something that Brap says a lot of times when he talks about the market. He says, Silverwolf says, Mooch, we are not entitled to gaming. If they make it too expensive, move on and let them fail. If it's a must for you, find a way. Market will decide. It's a lot of times what Brap says about the market. The market will dictate
agree.
that. And that's what JC was. Oh, no, pardon me. It was
I
Marico.
agree. Yeah.
When he was talking about the subscription to the heated seats. That's absolutely, you know, they're going to go ahead and keep trying to do things. Eventually, the market will push back. Now, the market is trying to do that right now with physical media. But what you're seeing is, especially the youth, and it's not their fault. The youth right now, you know, we were talking, Jay, remember when we were talking about how like Xboxes play anywhere and play everywhere? And we had so many people on the show over the past 3-4 years, and they're like, Mooch, what you don't understand is people want to play their games anywhere, wherever, anyway. What, you know, and it was like all the young kids are using iPads and iPhones to play their, you know, their games on, and Fortnite and this and that. But you know, but they don't they grew up in an era without a physical disc. I think everybody on the panel who has kids would know that their kids have never been like, hey, can we go buy a DVD this weekend? I've never been asked that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I've never been asked.
Take them to Blockbuster, Mooch.
Yeah, I mean,
what the hell am I supposed to do with that?
Round trip to Alaska. Here we go. Welcome everybody, Ledger, to the show. By the way, Ledger, great to have you, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was funny how we were talking about the Steam Deck, and it was great how you guys kind of segued right into the digital sales thing. I just think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't think that Sony boycott at the end of August, I don't think that's going to give the results that the folks that are putting that on. I think you'll have some people that participate, but you have 350,000 signatures on, and D, you're a big numbers guy, D. Like 350,000 signatures out of the install base in the PlayStation community. Somebody was saying it was like 0.38%. You know, it's
well, I
like numbers. I like numbers. Let's.
Well, that's right, Wise. You do love numbers, Wise.
I love numbers. Let's play a numbers game here. Okay, what is the worst that can happen here? How many boycotts can you get on the maximum end?
I mean,
give me a number.
I would say out of those 300,000.
Okay,
let's be honest.
I will raise you 700,000 more. I'll give you.
No. Sorry, out of the 300,000, I would say many of them aren't actually even on PlayStation, right?
Exactly.
Some don't main on PlayStation, right? Yeah. So I would say out of like those 300,000, at best, I don't know, 100,000 max, and I think that's even a high shot.
Most of them are bots.
I will give you 1 million. I will give you 1 million players. 1 million. I will give you 1 million players who will block it. Okay, say 1 million people boycott PlayStation. Do you really think they fucking care?
That was my point. I don't know if that matters to them.
It's not a detriment to their business.
It's a drop in the bucket.
So what are we doing here? What are you? None of this stuff.
Let them do what they need to do. Let them grieve in the way they need to.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, and again, I think
I've seen all the reports from like Jason Schreier or whatever.
Yeah, I think we need to figure out how to.
He said that Sony doesn't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're
why would they care?
They shouldn't, right? They shouldn't. Yeah. Like, look at the boycott, right? I made a post earlier this week because I saw I don't know who actually started that whole boycott for the August, but I noticed that they were like singling out just grievances for PlayStation players to get them hooked in, right? It's kind of, it's beyond the point of just physical now. Like, what's your message? Like I noticed that they said something along the lines of too much live service, and funny enough, like I don't know if you're following PlayStation, you know that they've pulled back on live service quite a bit. Like it's not their bread and butter. I don't like I don't think that's happening next gen. So like what are we doing here? You know, like if you're gonna stick to physical, fine, but where are you gonna go? Let's be honest. With this move by PlayStation, does any that even Xbox this drive publishers are going to Xbox won't have it for PlayStation? It's just doesn't make any sense from an economic standpoint. You have a lower install base, and if you're going to do it for Xbox, you might. If you're going to do it for PlayStation, then you might think about doing it for Xbox. But you're not going to do it for Xbox if PlayStation isn't going to come out with a physical port, right? It's going to be digital. So
this is the thing, you know. And Ledger, I see you're saying Elemental comes back. Elemental, listen, and I'm not arguing with you. I know what you know. The sometimes, you know, having all this information in front of us is phenomenal on the internet, and sometimes it's a bit damaging because it's like, so Elemental says, Mooch, yet there's reports that younger generations are going to retro because of one, lost interest of modern gaming, two, that can't afford modern games, and retro is a cheaper option. Well, I mean,
retro is not always a cheaper option.
I was going to say, sometimes it's not.
Oh my God. The way the prices for these older games in some of these stores, I just kind of like almost fall on my ass when I see it. I'm like, whoa, I am not paying that for an old copy of a game. That's insane.
I sent y'all a video of the game room via the DMs and stuff. And this game, the amount of games that I have are like almost 60% less than I originally had, mainly because my son, when he inherited the room, sold off everything that he could get a lot of good money for. I mean, he sold off a good majority of my Nintendo games, and he was getting $200, $300 for these games. So if somebody's paying them this type of money for these types of games, they're not going to sell them for like $20, $30. I mean, FYI, you know.
Yeah, like vinyl records, right? That's one of the topics that, or that's one of the categories that comes up in this whole physical. Like, every generation gets into a fad from previous generations, right? That's just, it's like we did it too growing up. I'm sure we like things from the 80s, 70s, right? When you're in your 2000s. It's not like the first time this has ever happened between generations. So there is that. They do grow out of it, and it is a niche. It's a niche, right? So if you look at vinyl, like I looked up some LPs. I was like, I'm curious, like, what does this market look like?
Yeah.
They're so expensive. They're like $60 for vinyl.
And when you get the newer artist stuff, it's a limited stock. They're not going to constantly reprint this stuff. Like they make like 400 or 500 and that's it. You won't see it anymore.
Yeah, it's a niche, and everybody compares like, well, why can't Sony do that? Well, Sony needs to come up with a disk drive that can run PlayStation games only. You can't just have somebody else manufacture it. That's a massive loophole for pirates, for your IP, right? You're just not going to go down that path unless they make it, which what's the point, right? So it's not quite the same. You can always buy a JVC. Like I think I saw a JVC retro turntable, right? So like they're not going to license that stuff out to third parties. So it's like a non-issue.
Shout out to Mariko. He says Twitter is like the Wizard of Oz. A lot of loud noise, but a small, normal dude behind the curtain who usually can't do shit. Mariko, outstanding analogy. Outstanding, Mariko. So listen, let me do this. I know we've talked about this. This is going to be something that's kind of be ongoing. I won't always keep it as a large segment on the show. I do want to keep up with I was calling it before as the PlayStation protest. You know, now it's kind of getting into digital sales and what's going on there. People really this is blossoming. So we'll continue to go through it until we get till right around the end of August and see how this portrays. But I will start first and foremost. I'm trying to think if I go with D. I want to ask D to start. D, I want to talk a little bit about Gears of War E-Day multiplayer that was shown off today. So many emotions I have. Shout out to the great Erica. Erica, if you're listening to the show, shout out to you. I'd love to have Erica back on the show once the game launches October 6th. I think you can get it 4 or 5 days earlier, too, if you actually pre-order it or something of that nature. But, D, what did you think? One of the things that was a big selling point was the Horde siege mode, 12-person Horde. I think it's 3 teams of 4. You can actually, you have your own missions, your own thing going on, big open world. You can even team up with other teams. And again, this was my interpretation of it. I didn't get a chance to see the whole thing. I was watching bits and pieces because I was at work today. But D, what did you think? I'll reserve my opinion to the end. I am looking forward to Gears E-Day, but I want to get the panel's thoughts before I throw mine out there.
You know what? I'm going to have to watch it now.
Well, that's okay. Go ahead. Watch it right now, D. I'll go to Wise, because I know Wise is probably like going to order a Gears E-Day, anything they offer. Wise, what do you think, buddy? Did you get a chance to see the video today?
Okay, so to show my age, I want to reference a commercial back in the 70s.
Yes.
It was this Indian or Native American standing in a field where I guess Woodstock was being held, and there was a tear going down because of all the litter everywhere. You know, he was just sizing it all.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I felt. I felt like that because, like, I mean, with 4, like the latest entries of Gears of War it just wasn't Gears to me. I mean, it was okay. It was fine, but there was something
missing. Yeah.
And I saw this, and of course, I've not had a chance to play it yet. But I mean, from what they're showing, it was like I had a tear going down my cheek. It was like I remember from the 360 era, the whole Gears thing, and it just recollected me back to that era. And I'm hoping it plays as well as it was shown. I think because if it does, it's a good true to form.
I think the motion and the movement that you're talking about, you're going to be very impressed with. Did you see enough here? Well, again, I don't want to give I just want to throw it out there. The Horde mode, if we want to break that down and get into it, that's interesting. The one thing is, I did see some of the movement changes. There's some slide mechanics. I had one person write me on X after I said, hey, I'm excited for it, but I didn't see a lot of change overall in the multiplayer. And someone's like, Mooch, they added slide mechanics. Listen, you guys know I like Call of Duty. Call of Duty added slide mechanics, and they had that whole like what did they call it? Wolf, Wolf, what was the system that they put in place for Black Ops 6? I can't remember the name of it now.
Oh, the
something.
Octo something.
Yeah, anyways, it was an ability to kind of like almost Max Payne, like jump in the air and shoot right side. So it wasn't slow motion, but my point being is that movement and those changes, I was okay with them. I think they've removed a lot of them going into what's going to be Modern Warfare 4. But that type of movement, Omni movement or something like that.
Omni movement, right? That was it.
I don't think that really brings, like, people aren't going to be like, oh, that Gears 5 multiplayer just died out. Like, it's just non-existent. No one's playing it. So the multiplayer looks to be the same. Yes, they added some movement. I do like the speed of it. It's a little bit more, it's a little faster. But again, my question is more, what about this new audience of gamer? Someone like Wise that shed a tear, and me who's like, I'm going to be there day one. I'm already there. Microsoft knew that me and Wise were going to be there. The question is people that were never really into Gears 4 or 5 multiplayer, and now they see this, they're going to be like, oh, that's, and people they don't like it when you say this, but that's more Gears. They didn't really change a whole lot. The movement's a little faster. That, for me, that's good. But for others, is that going to move the needle, I guess, is my question for you guys.
I think what's going to happen is it's going to basically rely on your old school gearheads that are going to basically be the people who are going to play it first, and based off of their verdict and what they come out of it, is it going to basically tether all the hardcore, all the casual people to it? And that's always been the case, and I think that is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping there's what I think is going to happen, and there's what I hope is going to happen. What I think is going to happen is everyone's going to say, oh, yeah, it's more Gears, and those who are interested will play it. Oh, those who are not are just going to, brush it to the wayside. However, what I hope is going to happen is that they have, from what they've shown, embraced the old school Gears. And I'm hoping that it plays as well as it showed. And when these old fashioned fans like go back to it and we play it and we like it, I think that as we talk more and more about it, I think it will bring more and more people in. That's what I'm hoping for in the best situation. And I mean, I guess that's all we can hope for.
I saw the wall banging is back, and I saw some people being like, oh, that's fine, that's not a big deal, this and that. And I'm like, but I watched videos and I'm like, I thought that was one thing that a lot of people, yes, the diehard Gears fans are going to say that needs to be there. That's part of the game. But that whole, like, the screen bouncing around all over the place, I thought that was one of the things that I thought they would kind of work on a little bit to make that a little bit smoother. And it seems like it's, and listen, if you like it, you like it. But I thought that would be one of the things that they would have kind of, improved on, So it's just one of those things. I mean, Wolf, where are you, Wolf? You're a big multiplayer game. I mean, a gamer. Is this something that you see in your future?
I was going to go ahead and play this game on PC, but now looking at everything else that's releasing, I'm not going to be able to do it.
Why is that now?
Like Gears is not at the top of my list of games that I have to play. Like,
yeah.
September is going to have me busy, and some of those games are going to roll into October.
It's funny
and there's games in October that I'm looking forward to as well, and then November belongs to Grand Theft Auto. So,
yeah, you say that, and that's interesting because it does come out. So Gears comes out October 6th, and then 2 weeks later, or a little after that, you have Modern Warfare 4. And there's a plethora of games that are coming out at the end of September. The new Control Resident, I think it's called. There's Onimusha. There's Phantom Blade Zero.
I'm playing Silent Hill.
There's Silent. That's right. Me too. I'll be playing Silent Hill. Wolverine's the 15th. You know, a lot of people that are hardcore gamers are like, oh, I'll just finish Wolverine, then I'll move on to this. A lot of people, that's fine, but these are also $70 titles. So if you're already going to buy 3 games in September, you're at, $210 before you even start to get to the October games. And people are like, well, I got to pick up I got to pick up Modern Warfare 4. So, it starts to be a costly time of year. Plus you've got the holidays around the corner. So there's E-Dog, and I know E-Dog's a big fan, and he says, I'll wait on Gears. Wolf, you made a really good point there. Shout out, by the way, Game Boy, he says, I will save gaming with NFTs, video games as NFTs. Game Boy, sorry I missed that one, buddy. Appreciate the super chat. D, I don't know if you got a chance to watch there's a 12-minute clip. You don't have to watch a 12-minute when there's a 2-minute clip. D, before you even get a chance to finish it, or if you did, Wolf brought up a good point. Is this going to be a game that is a must play, or do you think some people will pass on it due to the absolute pile of games that starts coming out end of August? I mean, shoot, next week is, I think, Beast of Reincarnation.
Yeah, and Marvel Tokon.
Thank you very much, Wolf. So
yeah, that just preloaded today for me. I was like, oh my God, it's next week already.
It starts next week. August 4th is Beast, and it doesn't stop from there. It goes all the way till GTA 6. So
Mooch, Halloween comes out in September too, and me and a bunch of my friends are already planning to play this.
I'm there
because it looks fun as hell. So
yes.
I'm like, damn, like time is going to be spread really thin.
Yes, so shout out to the Great Blaze 4K and Lazy Vibes. We've already decided that the minute that game comes out, that might be a game that we're playing. We're going to be playing that right through the Halloween holiday. So that'll be September. I think it comes out September, Wolf, and it goes all the way. And I'm going to play that through October.
If you pre-order it, you get it 4 days early.
This is what they're doing, isn't that? Wolf, thank you for bringing that up. Halo did it, Gears did it, Halloween's doing it. I think they're all going to do this. Everyone's going to charge you $20 more now to play the game 5 days early. So basically,
no. Halloween, you can pre-order the standard version and you still get it 4 days early.
Oh, okay. You don't have to up. It's not an upcharge. No. Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to buy the premium version.
Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting. Thank you for that info, Wolf. I didn't know that. I just know that this is becoming the new trend. This is how they're getting that extra money out of all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a big thing. D, did you get a chance to see it yet? He's probably still listening. He's probably watching don't watch the director's cut, D. D just got a thing of popcorn. He's watching the entire Gears history. Go ahead.
Look at this. Ace Combat 8 drops October 2nd.
Yep.
If you're into horror games, Hellraiser drops the 8th.
That's right. My God.
If you're a Final Fantasy fan, Resonance drops the 22nd. Call of Duty's October 28th, 3rd. Nintendo Switch Sports Resort. Me and the family are playing that the day it comes out. So, and then Phantom Blade Zero, October 29th. This is insane.
Did you see that they're talking about possibly the Zelda Ocarina of Time remake being thrown out there right around the end of October as well? That's what the rumors were today.
Don't even say that. Don't even jinx me like
Listen,
that.
I'm just saying it was out. It was out there.
Job. I got kids to.
It was out there.
To go through college. Come on, stop.
Hero Down Under says, "I will pay whatever I choose." Hero, that is your right, by the way. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. So, Wise, are you gonna go ahead and push anything else to the side for Gears?
No, because I'm an old school gearhead. I've always played every Gears of War that came out, and I'm looking forward to it. And I guess that's what's going to happen here. You're going to have a whole lot of people playing who are hardcore Gears fans who are going to come and play this game day and day, because a lot of the casual people have already gotten a taste from Gears 5. I don't know what type of taste it left in their mouth, but I don't think that it's going that because of that game. I don't know how many people are going to go to E-Day as their first choice, except for the hardcore gear set. And what I'm hoping is that when after GTA or around GTA time, because see, we'd always talk about GTA and we always say, okay, GTA is going to be the biggest thing. Yes, and I get that. But not everyone is going to be interested in GTA at that time. Some people don't want to play. Maybe somebody might go back and play Gears. I hope it's going to come out. I hope it's good. I hope when people have some more time, they'll go back and play it. And that's what I think they can hope for. But I'm not moving anything to play E-Day. I mean, in fact, I might have to put if Ocarina or something else comes out, I'll have to put that to the wayside.
I don't.
The Wii Sports Resort.
Listen, Ocarina of Time thing is complete speculation, but it was recently rated, and generally when it's rated, within X amount of months, it is set to come out. So I'm not saying
around the corner.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's coming out October 6th. People were actually being really, really devilish on the internet today, saying that Nintendo may have the balls to actually put it up against GTA 6, which is interesting. I don't know. I have no idea. But that was all speculation. But the fact that it was rated was not speculation. So, that's an interesting point right there. D, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm back.
So, D, what did you think from what you saw? Is there enough there that says, Gears is back and it's going to be this dominant force, et cetera, et cetera?
Got all the potential. It looked really good. I'm going to have to
did look good.
Play it. But if it plays like how it looked there, it's awesome. I like the new slide mechanic. But the graphics are fantastic. I like the new co-op. Multiplayer horde mode with teams of 3.
Mm-hmm. Is it 4 teams of 3 or 3 teams of 4? I thought it was 3 teams of 4, but I could be wrong.
3 teams of 4, right?
Yes, that's what I thought. That's what I witnessed, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
My question for you, D, was just like it. So again, I'm talking to the panel, and my audience is huge old school gamer fans. Everybody here is a hardcore gamer. You've all been knighted that, right? You're here. You've been here for over a decade on the channel. So my point being is that, when it comes down to it, I know that we're all going to be there, but is this something with the plethora of games? And D, you were listening to the show. Wolf did a great job of running from basically August all the way through to October. There's so many games. Is Gears going to get, I don't want to say lost in the shuffle because it won't get lost in the shuffle, but Halo's numbers weren't phenomenal. Halo CE. So is Gears going to get that they're going to get the old Gears heads, but are they going to get new people?
Halo, for me, I'm still playing through it. It's a remake, right?
Right.
So, it kind of is.
This is a new game. That's a very good point. I think
my personal opinion is that Gears is a new Halo for Microsoft. So I think it's fine. I think it's going to entice people, and I think it looks fantastic, and I think it's going to be great. I think gamers have more interest in Gears than they do in Halo. And I notice one thing I don't like about Gears is it's kind of sluggish, clunky. I still like Gears, just being honest. A little sluggish and clunky. And they appear to at least fix that for the multiplayer. So I'm excited.
They still have the wall bang though, D, and that all that they move. Yeah, I think the movement is
certain
faster.
Things just make a game, right? So they can't take everything out.
Right. That's a very good point, and that's not. Yeah, I'm not even arguing that. I guess my question for you, D, is a new audience going to be there? I mean, everyone we talk to, D, has been playing Gears for what ever. So like they're all I'm there. I mean, I'm going to be there day one.
Because it's also the story they're also telling is from the beginning. So yeah. I think so.
So you don't think it's a mistake that they took it off PlayStation after seeing Halo not really do phenomenal numbers? I'm going by Steam. I think Steam's 24-hour was the best that they've had was 25,000.
I don't know. That's we're going to have to see. Our Xbox guys are going to go out and buy this game. If they don't go out and buy this game, then yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking. And again, this doesn't count everything, by the way, because that doesn't count PlayStation. But I'm just going by Steam DB real quick, guys. Just want to give you guys a live. So here's There it is right there. Campaign involved. There's 12,000 people playing right now. And I'm looking to see if they have the... I don't see where the actual... There's the charts. Oh, there it is. 25,000 all-time peak 2 days ago. So that's not telling all the story, by the way. But it's some of the only information we have right now.
It's a remake.
It is a remake versus a new game. That is something that needs to be said out loud again and again.
I don't have much excitement because I played this game a zillion times. Yes, the nostalgia feeling is there a little bit. Yes, there's a new coat of paint on it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I played this. What happened?
Right.
Oh man, time.
No, I agree. I agree. Ledger, where are you on this? Are you a Gears head? Are you going to be there day one for the campaign and multiplayer?
Definitely, I'll be there for the campaign. Not really into the multiplayer for Gears. Never really was. Kind of just like The Last of Us. Like I know a lot of people like that one as well too, but it just wasn't for me. I would say that Gears is probably my favorite Xbox franchise. Not really interested in Halo. I know that came out. I've played it so many times. So like D's point, it's just a remake. But I'll be picking up Gears on PC.
Yeah, so that's I think what D said too, and Ledger. A lot of people are probably going to agree with you. I'm really there for the campaign myself. We played through Halo CE. You guys can go over check it out. Little shameless plug there at twitch.tv Mooch TV. It's right there underneath the description. If you copy and paste that right in there and hit the follow button, you'll see we go every Tuesday and Saturday. And we played through. We did a 7.5 hour stream, and we beat Halo CE on Steam. It was on Legendary. So. That was a lot of fun. It was a good time. It was very nostalgic. But I do agree that I want something new. I'm looking forward to the new Gears game. And the movement that they changed is enough for me to be really excited. But again, the multiplayer, there's going to be, listen, here I am. I'm like, a Gears multiplayer, I'm going to be there for it. I just wonder if the audience is going to be there. I thought Gears 5 multiplayer, they were really enticing and telling us about all the changes they made when that game came out. And the audience just fizzled. It fizzled. It was there, and then it just fizzled out. I'm hoping that you have a situation where this audience remains. But again, you've got all those battle royales out there. You've got Modern Warfare 4 coming out a few weeks later. It's like, are you going to lose that audience? And a lot of people go, come on, Mooch. If Gears is Gears, well, Call of Duty's Call of Duty. Absolutely. But Call of Duty seems to always steal a good amount of multiplayer gamers every single year, even with the criticism.
I don't see like younger generations flocking over to Gears, whether it's single player or definitely not multiplayer. I think if you look at something like Fortnite and how quick and fast that game is and all the stuff you can do in it, I think something like a Gears E-Day multiplayer kind of talks to our generation of multiplayer gamers. It's a little slower. It's a little more methodical. It's the basic multiplayer routine rather than like building and co-oping with other players. So I just don't see the younger generation trending towards that, and so I don't know if the multiplayer is going to be successful.
And that lies my question. I guess time will only tell. But that seems to be the situation.
I'll say this: the younger generation, they seem to like this spooky, ghouly stuff. So I think it might appeal to them.
That's a great point, D.
They like that.
That's a great point. Do you think Xbox has been doing enough marketing with this, or is it too early?
Too early, but they need to get that marketing out there because soon everything is going to be dominated by GTA. So they better get a jump on that.
I completely agree. I mean, myself personally, I will say this: I will be streaming Gears of War E-Day again. Shout out to Blaze and Lazy. We'll be doing that day one. Looking forward to that. Now, I'll always check it out too we'll probably be doing the early access we're going to pre-order it on Steam, and then I'll check it out also on Xbox, just for my own comparison. What's funny we haven't talked about is Forza Horizon 6. Somebody just mentioned it in the chat. And Forza Horizon 6 is going to be coming out for PlayStation. Was that announced yet, or are they still stuck with just autumn?
No, there's still no date.
There's no date, right?
I'm gonna assume they're gonna announce it at Gamescom, maybe.
Good point. Maybe
do they withdraw it at this point, Mooch?
Ooh, Wow, that's a
after,
move.
After announcing it, that would be a bad look.
Ledger, I like where your head's at right there, but I got to tell you, I don't think so. Like Wolf just said it. Once you announce it, boy, you're on the hook. You know, they didn't say my question, and I know that you've had Matt Ball, you've had Asha, you've had a bunch of Xbox brass say never. I'll tell you, a lot of people said, you know, J-Dub had to leave. Hopefully Jay can jump back in. But people, you know, remember when Jay said, I can't wait to play Starfield on my PS5, and then they said, you'll never play, you know, and this was the Xbox brass, not just the back and forth on Twitter. They'll never play that. It's never coming. It's an exclusive, console exclusive to Xbox.
Womp, womp, womp.
Right. So I'll tell you something, D, you know, like we say on the show a lot, never speak in absolutes. I know that they spoke in absolutes, and maybe this will just get shelved and it'll never come. I honestly still think at some point down the road, I don't know when it'll be. Maybe it'll be 2028. I don't know. But the longer you wait, you know, then the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I'm wondering with this whole thing that's going on, if they will ever bring it to PS5. That's going to be an interesting.
You know what? I think it was very telling what Asha Sharma said when she said we're committed to bring 1 to 2 exclusive games a year to the Xbox. Yes, we know you guys need to have something. Blah 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 blah. And if these do well, then we'll bring more in. And I think that's what's going to dictate it. Are people going to go out there? Are people going to go out there and buy Gears? Because if people don't go out there and buy Gears, and you know people don't go out there and buy Clockwork, you better believe that those games they're going to reverse course once again. Asha came out and said I have a year to turn this around. If they don't turn it around, we're not seeing growth there. You're going to see those games come to PlayStation because at the end of the day, they're one of the biggest third-party companies in the world.
Yes.
And they have to make money. And they're trying to do their little thing here to see if it's going to have some traction, if it's going to resonate with gamers, and if they're going to buy games. They're removing Call of Duty off of Game Pass because they need money. And at the end of the day, they need to recoup this investment. That's why Forza Horizon is still coming. That's why Halo is there. That's why Fable is still coming. They could say they don't want to put it on there. They can't afford to not put it on. That's why they put it there in the first place. Everybody else reacting to everything, just reacting with their emotions. The facts don't give a damn about your feelings. At the end of the day, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, and they need to make money.
So D, you say that, and I have to agree with you. So I mean, you kind of segued perfectly, and I mean, if anybody, you can always tie some more thoughts if you want. By the way, thank you very much. Let me say a quick shout out to Highlander. Yes, there it is, Highlander. Thank you for the gifted sub, buddy. Appreciate that. Xbox content and services drops by 10% in the last quarter review. You know, here's my thing. What you just said, D. But the thing is, though, how long do they wait? Do you wait, let's say 30 days after Gears comes out and they see that sales are down, right? Let's say, I was asking this question for the past few weeks, D. I said, how many do you think we'll have as a peak player count on Steam, right? Because Steam is where it's going to be bought the most. Xbox, majority of people on Xbox are going to play it on Game Pass. So where are they? So I said, I was thinking hundreds of thousands, and everyone said, Mooch, you are out of your mind. They're thinking the peak of Gears E-Day on Steam might be 100 to 150,000. Where are you, D, on the number? And it's just a speculation or a guess.
I'd probably say 7.
What are you going to say?
270.
270. Wow, this is like The Price is Right. Sure you don't want to go 270, 271? Wow, 270. Okay, well, I really like your enthusiasm on that number, T.
I bet $1.
$1. Wise, you win both showcase showdowns, Wise. All right, so listen. So 270, that's fine. 270. Wise, what do you think, Wise? Because I do think it's going to be Steam that ultimately is the factor on whether or not they see how the sales go for this. Because again, will it sell on Xbox? Absolutely. And I know a lot of diehard Xbox fans that are like, I have it on Game Pass, but I'm going to buy it anyway.
Yeah, they're full of it.
Right. Yeah. Most say that and then they don't.
I mean, I want to say a little bit less than D, 250. I would say 250 would be mine.
Okay, Wolf, what do you think, Wolf? Steam sales peak.
Don't say 271.
Yeah, don't say 271.
No, I'm not going to do that. Around 200.
Okay, 200. Ledger, what do you think? You know, it's so funny. El Nini in the chat said 271 before you said
Ledger's like one.
Yeah.
They're all over.
I love it.
I'm just looking at what Gears 5 did on
Yes.
Steam, and what I would do is take that number, probably add another 20% to it. Because,
Okay. I like your math.
The reasoning being that a lot of Xbox players that like Gears have moved over to PC because Xbox told them to.
I like your numbers. Yes, that's right.
So
he's right.
I got to find that number. I'll get back to you. But Mooch, I have a feeling that it's never coming to PS5, and the reasoning behind that is if it fails as is on Steam and on Xbox, the way that Microsoft is moving, like you saw their financials, they had a lot of impairment charges. They never actually said what it was for, but they did go into, and there's a line item there that says with the layoffs and impairment. So it's they're definitely devaluing their brand. Now, whether that's studios or it's their hardware, like, I'm not sure because they don't actually tell those numbers because it's just a line item for their bigger organization. But my feeling is if this game fails, they're going to want to do more impairment, more studios, not just, and Coalition might be on the block, right? Either they're shut down, they're reduced in size, or they become a support studio of sorts. That is my feeling. And if you're going to do that, you don't release a game on PS5. You just shut down the whole thing. The IP's gone. Like you might have, well, technically you got to get rid of your IP if you're shutting down Coalition. You're doing impairment charges. You want to write off the whole brand. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of why I think this is one of those games that could it happen? Sure. I don't know. Xbox to me is they're coming off a little bit like I don't trust their PR. I don't trust any company's PR. But the way what they're saying and what they're actually doing, it looks like there's like maybe 2 or 3 chefs in the kitchen, and it's at the end of the day, it's up to Satya. And if he doesn't care about any of this stuff, which he doesn't, and if you look at like just all their subsidiaries in Microsoft right now, like they're all growing, and Xbox is the least profitable. It's actually negative. And if you look at shareholders and Satya and just the board, they don't care. They only care about money, right? So, I don't think Gears is long for this world if Xbox gamers don't support it this time.
That's interesting. The only asterisk I would say, Ledger, to your everything you said is somewhat sound. Is that in this case, and shout out to Jeff Grubb, he's like somewhere a PlayStation 5 version of E-Day is ready to launch. So when we used to have this conversation, hey, will Starfield come? Starfield was the PS5 one was pulled way before the game came out, right? So that was pulled and shelved, and this is done. The decision for this was weeks before the announcement.
I mean, they literally showed us that they had it ready to go,
right,
on the YouTube thing,
right. So this game, so I agree with you, Ledger. But if they actually really wanted to, and maybe they don't.
It's probably done, but like that's up to them in terms of like where their headspace is. How close is it to their next? Like, if they're going to cut more people and do more impairment charges, then it doesn't even make sense. If Coalition's a part of that, they're just going to write it all off. Like, does it even make sense to release it and spend the extra money to finish off that port, even if it's already done? And
it's already done, though.
I think it's already done.
Yeah. Well, they can write that off, right? It's an expense, right? It's like, I get it.
Yeah, but
I think.
Yeah, but why not? Why not release it? Why not release it in February when it's still on players' minds, and a lot of people skipped a lot of games over the fall because there's so many coming out, and then you could make a lot more money. I think if you release it than a write-off.
Personally,
depends.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
Personally, I think it depends. I if it does okay, then say okay, you did okay. If it does poorly, then I could be imported eventually. Personally, I think it's going to do okay. I think it's going to do okay enough for them, probably.
I agree with you, D. Shout out the numbers I'm seeing in the chat, though, D. This might floor you. Eric, the producer, says 69,000's his guess. This is the one that really shook me.
Wow.
Shout out to the great gaming Forte. Forte, if you and Slow-Mo are doing DPS tonight, have a great show. If you're not doing DPS for any reason, jump on the show, Forte. You're always welcome. You and Slow-Mo always welcome on the show. Gaming Forte says, now, I don't know, Forte. Listen, when I ask Forte a question, he doesn't answer and joke. He says 33,000.
Whoa.
Now, listen, guys, Forte's in the business. He knows what's going on. That's an interesting take. My number was 150,000. I would say if I had to put my number, it'd be 150,000. I could even see it going as high as close to 2. But the 33 Gaming Forte, my Lord, that's not a lot of faith in that. I think that's extremely low. Halo had 25,000. And like D said, this is a new game. That's a remake of a remaster of an original title. Yes, it being nostalgic and all loving. People always remember and know Halo. It's a household name. But Silverwolf says 33,000. What sells? Yeah, Forte, that's interesting. 33K. I think it'll do better than that. I think it'll do better than that.
My guess is 900,000. Because if you look at Gears 5 on Steam,
yes,
and if this game is better than Gears 5, let's just assume that's
I think it will be.
Yeah, their average is like if you look at all these analytics sites, it's anywhere from 775,000 to estimated 1.02 million for the Gears 5 on Steam only.
So I'm looking,
and I think in 2019 it was on Game Pass, right? I can't remember.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So then a lot of people did still purchase it on Steam.
So I don't know where you're. So where are you looking? I just looked up Steam DB Gears 5. It says all-time peak 6.8 years ago, 10,000.
10,000. Yeah. I'm looking at the owner estimates. If you look lower, it'll be VG Insights, Gamealytics, Play Tracker. They're all different. They'll have their own methodologies, but like that's the owner estimates all-time peak. Like for single-player games, I don't necessarily look at all-time peak because like you're gonna like.
I don't think you're gonna get to 900,000. I mean that's a bit high. You have to look at it. I mean, Battlefield 6, which is a multiplayer game and is beloved and was all over the place on everything. But that on Steam hit, I think the high for Battlefield 6 was 760,000. So I mean, I think that may be a bit high. I think you're probably looking.
No, it says 10 million on Gamealytics, and VG Insights is saying 11 million for sales. Not concurrent users.
And that's just on PC?
Steam, yeah.
But how is it Steam's peak?
Oh, wait, let me just double check this. It might be everything, not just...
I think that's...
Yeah, no, it's everything.
That's everything. Yeah. Everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. Yeah, that's...
So in that case, it's like 900,000 was what the Gears 5 number was across all platforms.
Across all platforms. Okay, there you go. Yes. I don't know. When I looked up Steam DB, and I understand that there's other charts, this and that, but the all-time peak was 10,000.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's I think, but again, that's Gears 5, and it was that I think it came out post. That was post launch. The Gears 5 launched day and date on PC.
I believe so.
Oh, it did. Okay,
it did.
Yep, it did.
Okay, yeah, Jay, welcome back to the show. Jay, good to have you. Jay, we were talking a little bit. I was kind of blending the two because we went over the Gears. I wanted to get your take on the Gears multiplayer, and how you think it's going to do overall.
All right, my personal take. Gears looks okay. But again, it's more Gears. What I think it's going to rate well. I just don't think the masses is going to come out to support it. I think that franchise, for whatever it is, I don't know, but I just think Microsoft is in a kind of like a crazy awkward position because the franchises that they have are long in the tooth and they're waning, and I just think the diehards will be there, but I don't think there's many diehards left. I think everybody else moved on to other things. hopefully it can revive the series and get people back in the multiplayer and get people to more than anything buy the game, right? Because if people don't buy the game, you know where it's going next. You know it's coming over to PlayStation and any other place. It looks good.
It does look good.
I just when I saw it though, I just kept thinking, man, this game needs a God of War 2018 moment. It needs like I don't know what that entails, right? So I'm not a developer. I don't know what that takes, but like take something that ran its course and remake it and refresh it and make it all new for the new crowd. Because only the old crowd is going to care about Gears. These new kids and they don't know. They don't care. They're not. Their heart is not into. They don't remember the 360 era. You know, with Gears of War and stuff like that. They don't.
That's what I was. Yeah, CJ. That's what I was asking. D was, for us on the panel, we're all there day one. A lot of people in the chat all there day one. So I get that, guys. So the question is more. It's more about that youth and is the PC crowd a big Gears proprietor? And that's the thing, because right now it's not going to be on PlayStation. It's not on Switch.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be on Xbox console and PC. And I was just looking, Jay, and again, Ledger just informed me there's other ways to look at different values, but the peak for Gears 5 was 10,000. Now, that being low, this is a new game. I think it's got a little bit more momentum behind it. I was thinking 100 to 150,000 peak. What do you think the peak would be, players on Steam? Because on Xbox we'll never know.
We'll never know. It may. I mean, I'll be honest. It may get 15,000. It may get 20,000.
You're not even near.
Oh my gosh, so low.
That's very low.
No. Listen, I understand that. Here's the thing: how are we going to gauge that? The fact that it's in Game Pass.
I'm talking about just Steam. Just Steam.
Just Steam.
Just Steam.
I'll be honest, guys. I'm hovering around that 25,000 mark.
That's what Halo got. Halo's a remake and it's older. This is a new game. I do want to. The great game, Jay. Just before you joined us, the Great Gaming Forte was in the chat. He said 33,000 was his guess. That's low.
Yeah. That again. If he's saying 33,000, I'm saying 25,000.
Yeah, you guys are.
You're right. Middle. We're right.
You're right there.
In the ballpark.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah. So So,
but has there ever been a time in history? Think about it, where a Gears of War game is going to release, and we think it's going to get like middling. Here's buy-in results.
Here's the reason. The reason being, and I said this a while ago, Jay. Sorry, I'm going to call you Blaze almost. Been doing a lot of streaming over on Twitch. Little shameless plug again. But Jay, you know that, Jay. Here's the Great Gaming Forte about to join us now. But the thing about it though is they waited since 2019, Jay. That's why it's been a long time since Gears has kind of hit the airwaves. Forte,
33K.
Forte,
he got 33K.
Forte's trying to win.
He's still right there in the ballpark of, he's still right there with me. And
Forte, why is this number so low? I thought you were going to come in with easily triple digits.
No, man. Why? Ain't nobody. No, listen, man. We talk about how Gears E-Day it's a new game. Gears 5 was a new game too, and it launched on multiple platforms: Xbox Game Pass on PC, and Steam day one. I think it was Steam day one, and it peaked at 11K, bro.
Damn.
It peaked at 11K.
Like
it's and I think it's honestly being generous thinking it's going to hit this, because it's just for me. I just don't think people are looking at Gears like that. It's not,
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing people got to kind of understand, the reason I was watching, I forget who video that was. I was watching, and they talked about when Microsoft made that decision, or when Xbox made the decision to make Gears exclusive again.
Yeah.
And they said, and if I remember correct, I can't remember exactly who said it in the video, but he said, I would have been more impressed and more like, wow, if they would have did that with Halo. If they would have made Halo exclusive and not let that come to PS5, I would have been more excited and more impressed at them doing that. Because as much as Gears is like a good franchise, not even a great franchise, it's not a franchise that everybody is sitting there like kind of clamoring over to like play, you know, day one right then and there. You know, I feel like the days of that when we finally got past the original trilogy, you know, it's kind of just been a slow burn ever since then. The games are still good, they're great, but I mean, in to an extent, but it's not like Halo. It's not like Forza Horizon. That's something that isn't available on another platform that's not like it that can sell numbers like that. You know, if you look at Halo, like right now, it's charting on PlayStation 5 as one of the best selling games on
Yeah.
launch, like over there. You know, would Gears do that? That's the thing you kind of think. Would Gears do that?
Right.
And if Gears, you don't think Gears has that pedigree to do that, then I think that's one of the main reasons why they said, you know what, let's give the Xbox fans a bone. We want to make the console relevant. We want to say that we're bringing the console back. That's why my whole thing about this whole decision is saying that Xbox is back and everything. I said the proof is in the pudding. I said I feel like it's a lot of words just being said because they just want to get the gamer back on their side.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. They should do that, but they also should have never went down the road that they went with by telling people that they didn't need an Xbox in the first place. You know, they're trying to rewrite history, but history is like 6 years old at this point. It's like, you know, it takes a long time to move a ship in another direction, and that's what they're kind of fighting right now. But they made the decision to bring Gears over because they already know, like, if we're gonna pick a game that's not gonna move the needle as much, but it means more to Xbox fans than it means to everybody else, is going to be Gears. They know Halo has a good chance to move the needle because it's Halo. A lot of, you know, PlayStation fans been wanting to get Halo on their platform for the longest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's kind of why I say 33K. Now, if I want, you know, and that's just being honest about it. Obviously, I wanted to do better than that because I want, you know, more and more people to enjoy the game. But the thing is, could it hit higher than that number? Absolutely. Could it hit? Could it be? Because it is a newer game. Gamers are a little bit different than they were 6-7 years ago. Could it hit 80, 90,000? It could. I mean, Marathon did it, and I can't stand that freaking game. But I just look at Gears 5, and it's hard to say.
Go ahead, D.
I just want to say a few things here. If I'm not mistaken, Halo doesn't have multiplayer, so
no,
it doesn't.
So that's a big reason for the player count as well, because Halo is predominantly for the multiplayer, and this is a remake where everybody's at, so it's lost a little bit of its charm there in that sense.
Sure.
Gears, the last Gears 5, and people like let's not go there too much, but people didn't like the cast and they didn't like the direction of the franchise, and that's why we saw such a heavy decline. Right now they're going back to the characters that gamers care about in Gears, so that's why I think it's going to do pretty well, because they're going back, telling a new story, and it's from the beginning. And it also has multiplayer. So
but do you think people?
Honest,
you
those
just
numbers
said
are way too low. Will it drop off quick? Maybe.
You just said
initially it's gonna have higher.
You said something that was interesting, though.
My God,
would have made this game instead of Gears 5 10 years ago, I would agreed with you. But the fact, because I'm
confident it's going to be higher than 33,000.
No, listen. That's me going off of the numbers saying, dang, Gears 5 only sold this much, and we're talking about Steam. I think the game's going to do better than that overall. It's just that I don't know if the Steam community is going to dive into the game, because, you know, those are the only numbers we could kind of go off of, other than the fact that supposedly it's not coming to PlayStation, even though there's a PlayStation build out there.
Yeah, they're also partnering with Nvidia. Let's not forget that. It's gonna do well. Honestly, it's gonna do well.
Hey, Forte, we already know if the game don't do that well on PC and Xbox, we know within 6 months that shit is coming to PlayStation. We know that. That's just I think that's their
they never said it
that's their
wasn't.
backup plan.
No,
I
yeah,
know. I'm just saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely can. Like I said, at the end of the day,
No, they have said it's never
They
coming.
said
I
it's
just don't
never.
believe
Yeah, they
them.
said it's never
No,
coming.
that was
I think
Aaron Greenberg said that. But
I think
Aaron Greenberg also said that that Starfield and other games that was
but
never
you got to
coming. Like,
remember the
That's
plan
true.
is the plan until the plan changes.
exactly. That's what she said.
That's
That's what
right.
she said.
But and guess what? And I agree with that honesty. You know, I think a lot of things that kind of hurt Xbox over the years is the promises that people really held to heart. Where as if you just sit there and think about just business sense, did it make business sense for you to like people keep going to like the whole VR thing? Did it make sense for Xbox to make a VR? No, but guess what? They made promises that they would do it, and they made promises that they was going to be the most powerful console out there, and all this other stuff. But then, just a lot of other stuff kind of hampered that. So I
Yeah.
just feel like the plan is always the plan until the plan changes. So when they finally when she came out and actually said that, I was like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? This is probably the most honest Xbox has kind of been in
In a
decade.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a decade. But that's just where we are at this point now. They got a lot of decisions to make, a lot of goodwill to try to build back up. And but the biggest thing is the problem is a lot of people are just down on it. And this would have been a perfect game 5 years ago. And I will
Yeah.
give, but this is the thing, like Dave actually said, we get in the original cast, like the original cast plus some extra people. Is the original cast worth 90 million or 90,000 people picking up
So
the game on Steam? That's kind of what you got to look at, because I think it's gonna do pretty well on Xbox, because like you said, Mooch, I know a lot of people that say they're gonna buy it, but they'll most likely just play
right.
it in game.
So let me ask
So
this. So shout out to P Lump in the chat. He said first of all, and I want to ask you. I'll ask the questions because he put them in the super chat, but we'll come back to the first one to say. He says, when is PlayStation going to throw an event like Xbox Fan Fest? That makes sense. P Lump will come back to that. He says y'all are some delusional ponies. Now P Lump, do me a favor real quick while I got you here. P Lump, what number do you expect Steam DB to report? What will be the peak for Gears E-Day on Steam? And the only reason I'm making Steam the conversation point is we'll never know with Xbox. Xbox will refuse to tell us any numbers, which, by the way, P-Lump, I know you know this. When somebody doesn't want to tell you numbers, it's because they're not impressed with their numbers. So, P-Lump,
Well, here's the question that I have.
Let me know in the chat, P-Lump, and I'll shout it out loud. What do you think Steam will have as a peak player count on Gears E-Day? Go ahead, Wise.
So here's my question. Okay, so when they made these two games exclusives, or when they came out and announced and drew that line in the sand and said these two games are going to be exclusive, they knew that they're working on a 30 million install base, most of whom are already on Game Pass anyways and not buying their games all outright. They knew they're going to take a hit on the sales. So how much is what's the actual word I'm looking for here? How much is an appropriate loss acceptable for them to say, okay, this was a success for us, even though we know if we would have made a multi-plat, we would have sold X plus Y. But this, based off of what we have, is acceptable. Like, that is my question.
I'm gonna answer that question real quick for you, because I think it's already a success, because they already got a lot of the fan base believing that they believe that they're going to do better by Xbox by bringing it over. I'm going to say the word sacrifice, but that's kind of what it is. They know that they can sell more of this game if they put it on PlayStation, but they decided not to, because they literally told you during the Xbox showcase that they listened to the fans, and
Right.
and this game is exclusive because we believe in Xbox. That was the whole reason that this game was picked.
That's correct.
That's what I keep going back to. I would have been more impressed. I hate that I can't remember who said the head in their video, but I would have been more impressed if it was something like Halo or something like Forza, something that the other platform doesn't even have close to, and has a bigger name, and then pull that out. And then instead of Gears, not saying that Gears, because the thing is, it makes it seem like we're talking about Gears like it's a secondhand child. It's not. Gears is more endearing to the Xbox fan than anything else. It's the reason that Microsoft went out and purchased Gears of War from Epic because it was rumors that they were going to bring it to other platforms and they didn't want to lose it. So that's why
That's
they
a good
ended up
point.
purchasing.
Good
That's
point.
why they so it means a lot to them.
Mhm.
But they know how much it means to Xbox fans. So them saying that we want this game to be exclusive to Xbox and it be like the guiding light, like the lighthouse at the end of the river that people can like focus on and say, yeah, Xbox this, Xbox that. That's great. They already got goodwill. Now there's some people out there that still, like D said, I still don't believe them. At the end of the day, it's all about your word, and Xbox hasn't kept up with their word,
Mhm.
you know, throughout the last generation.
Yeah.
So that's
So
kind of
do
So
hard.
I think that a proper measure of success for an exclusive is how much does it flow into your ecosystem. How many people will be subscribing to Game Pass to play this game?
Yes.
Who's going to pick up hardware, right? I don't. Again, it's
Will
a
we know
really
those
bad time for
numbers?
that. No, we won't, right? But
And that's the
internally,
problem.
but for me, like I don't think that they're being overly gratuitous with their fan base. I actually just think they're just stating the obvious. Their numbers are all out there. So then Asha comes up and says this tweet about, oh yeah, we're working hard. We have 150 million people. Like it's just the basic stuff that they're saying, which is igniting the Xbox faithful, right? And like Mooch, it's like you're a baseball fan. If you get
Absolutely.
a new manager, you get excited, right, about the future.
Yes.
I think it's very similar in that, but she's not
Well,
stating
dude,
anything different.
These are all things that they had no choice to do.
Right.
yeah, but here's the thing.
Go ahead.
This is what it boils down to, right? Does sales matter to Microsoft, or does it not? Because the mixed messaging, right? We've seen these negative numbers for the last 2-3 years, and then them having to lay off everybody and every quarter and stuff like that. We see this, and then they talk about how they're going to try to increase the revenue and increase the money, increase. But the decision that you make is you could have made not probably, but you would have made way more money putting it on a console where there's a much higher, 4, 5, 10 times higher install base than your own console. So again, I don't think PC is going to be enough to carry it. I don't think there's enough Xbox console gamers out there to be able to carry it. So if I'm a developer making games for Xbox and I'm looking at this move here,
Mhm.
I'm looking like, okay, why are you gonna have me at a higher standard than them? You're basically throwing this game out here, like Forte said, as a sacrificial lamb, and it doesn't matter what that game is going to do. It's just, but my game, I have to sell 3, 4, 5 million copies,
Mhm.
or else our studio is closing down. Like, what? That's such huge mixed messaging. I don't
Jay,
that's sorry. That's what I was kind of talking about earlier. I think like the way Xbox is moving right now is they're really shrewd with their business. They're just gonna keep cutting until it makes sense. Like their revenue, like I can see them cost cutting until that growth that they're talking about actually happens. So if this game fails, I thought maybe they'll just write off the coalition, right? They'll reduce them. Maybe they'll scrap the IPs, take a hit on that rather than putting it on PS5, even though the port was almost developed or like it's on somebody's desk. Right?
That is Don't get me wrong, Ledger. I see where you're going. That is a drastic measure. Coalition has a lot of employees. Coalition also helps a lot of other teams. I don't know if that. I mean, you're right. They may have them just be a assistance or you know what I mean, help other teams out. But I do think that. I think I want to go back to what Jay said with the mixed messaging, and it ties into the Xbox content and services dropping. It's not just a situation of just Gears. So Gears comes out, right, and they had all that stuff. The PlayStation, like, again, shout out to Jeff Grubb. He's like, somewhere there is a Gears E-Day on a thumb drive. He's on a hard drive or thumb drive for the PS5, right, game on it. There's that. They changed their mind last minute. Then Asha tweets out today, this summer, we've expanded Xbox streaming to more than 150 million TVs and devices around the world. This sounds like somebody else's tweet. because not everyone can afford dedicated gaming hardware. Today, we're adding millions more through Vita, OS, and Hisense, so more people can play on the hardware they already own. Sounds a little like play your game anywhere with anyone, however you want. And the thing about it is, remember before
that Helix is going to be expensive.
Well, yes, and that's what people are saying. But hear me out. The problem I have with that is there was a strong push the last 2 months since Asha took over, or whatever it's been, and the focus coming back to the console. Well, the focus coming back to the console, but now we're talking about 100 million, 150 million TVs.
Now I will give as much as I gave crap about the other side. I'll give her credit for this. I always feel like there's two different ways you could go. You can still tell people why they should have your platform by still promoting other things. The biggest thing that I had the problem with Xbox over the course of the last 5 to 6, 7 years is that they literally exclusively just told people they don't have to have the console. It was just the message was loud and heard across everywhere. It wasn't like this is the reason you should have our console for these reasons, and then but if you want to play somewhere else, these are the avenues to do it. It was literally Xbox is everywhere. You don't have to own the console. They plastered it as a banner anywhere for everyone to see. So having the conversation, and like you said, I think it's a lot to do with the fact of the price of the hardware, and I think the fact that we haven't seen the hardware yet, and there's not really any excitement to know, because like people are excited to see what it is, but until you actually get a glimpse of what the power of it's going to be, what the infrastructure of it's going to be like, how much it's going to cost, right now they're just trying to say, they're trying to grease the wheels. It's just like with PlayStation coming out and doing the whole ending of physical media. They're telling people a year and a half in advance to get you ready for a future that a lot of people aren't going to want to be a part of. So when they finally do it, it's like, well, we told you a year and a half ago, so you can't be mad about it. Because that's what Microsoft is doing now. They're telling you we're spinning up all of these different ways to play games because they don't have a console to like show you yet. Now, when they finally do show you the console and say a $1,300, $1,200 price point on it, they can also say alongside that, we understand that economics are hard, and guess what? There's other ways for you to engage with your content outside of just owning the console. They set those numbers a year ahead of time. So that's kind of what the messaging is right now for me. But a lot of people aren't going to take it that way because they just want, a lot of people don't want to play that way.
I think you're right? Like they are trying to get more entry points, and like just reading Matt Ball's his analysis in the past, right? He's very much into emerging markets and giving them easy ways, right? Like streaming and whatnot. So I think he's really pushing for that, and I think maybe he has Ash's ears. Plus, obviously, like they're losing $150 per console, and this is before the hike, right? Of the Xbox Series X. So that new piece of hardware that they're going to have, which is easily going to be $1,400 if you look at the RAM crisis right now. If it is that PC leak that I think Moore's Law is dead as a leaked before, and some other, they're going to lose way more than 150 if you're not buying that thing. So I think and Mooch, I think she mentioned reference devices, right? Not too long ago. So they're just trying to get hardware out of their cost center. You know what I mean? So however you can enter in,
how do you spend billions on R&D for something where you're going to sell less than the previous? And let's face it, if the Helix is priced on what we think it's going to be priced, if you thought they sold 25 to 30 million consoles this generation, you're looking at, come on. You're looking at maybe 2 or 3 million worldwide for a whole generation. Is it really worth it?
I don't think so, right? Like even if you look at R&D, like I don't know how much. So it's funny because one of my colleagues, he kind of mentioned that when you do an R&D with a company like AMD or so like even Sony's doing that whole Project Amethyst, right? So they share costs of R&D. I'm presuming that maybe Xbox has a similar deal with AMD, because AMD is going to make those chips, and it sounds like they're just those chips will be able to be purchased on other pre-builds and whatnot. So like I don't know how much they've actually invested compared to their traditional console. I'm sure they don't want to lose money on all this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's not going to sell, right? Like it's going to be less than your Xbox Series X is less in cost, right?
And also look at the numbers that they've put out. Okay, just this past week, their yearly results came out, and Microsoft as a corporation, as an entire corporation, banked $35.8 billion.
They're amazing.
And that is after they paid everybody all their 6-figure, 7-figure salaries, everything. They put a cash in the bank, 35.8. Do you really think Satya is sitting there and sweating tax over a division that is going 7% below profit margins, 5% below profit margins, and even on the best of days, they barely broke $1 or $2 billion.
No, and why is that's the thing? Like if you're a shareholder or board member, you're looking at this thing and be like, why are we in this? Fix it or get out. Right?
There's only one. No. I'll tell you that. There's only 2 or 3 people left on the board that are still vocal activists for Xbox, and the only reason they're vocal activists for Xbox is because it is the only consumer-facing brand they got left. Satya has no qualms being a totally non-consumer brand, and in fact, for the numbers, for our purposes, will be better if they got rid of Xbox.
But why would they care about being a consumer-based brand when one of your brands has such bad brand damage? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't benefit you in any way. So like that's where
according to them,
they're still people still talk about them.
Oh yeah.
Well, online they do, but it's
for the wrong reasons though.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but let me ask you this: I work for GameStop. And everybody hates GameStop. I guarantee you, the more people talk about it, the more they talk about it, the more that people know who it is, and people still go there all the time. It's like good news. It's like the more you talk about something, even if it's bad publicity, and I'm not saying that's what that was. It's just a simple fact that Xbox. Yes, it's an anchor around Microsoft, but it's the part of the anchor that keeps it keeps their name inside of the mouths of people that don't even really converse in the things that Microsoft, like you said, the consumer facing.
Yeah, but that's not turning into because I think Asher said, or Asher or Matt Ball, somebody said that.
Yeah,
it's not if it's not turning you've reached 200 million people. But if that hasn't turned into tangible, actual money, who cares? Like who cares if I think you're not a $4 trillion company because you don't not care about money. Like that's
no. Well, that's why I think that's why I think the whole 4-year plan is. That's why I think I was one of the very first people to say if this doesn't work in the next 4 years, then you're going to see something that a lot of people are not going to want to see when it comes.
I remember you said that. I remember you said that.
That's just where we are at this point. So obviously, it's whatever they can do over these next 3 to 4 years that's going to make a difference. If they can find a way to solidify and stable the brand with Game Pass and everything, because I do think Game Pass is still in the future. I think day and date is the thing that's going to kind of go by the way, because anybody to think any of those games like Fallout or Elder Scrolls is going to be a part of Game Pass.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is though, Forte, when they've already taken out Call of Duty, right? And now I agree, by the way, everything you just said, Forte, I agree. But Game Pass is no longer Game Pass once the day and date's gone. Yeah. Then it's no different than it's no different than
slippery slope, and they're gonna start to remove more.
Right.
I don't agree. The only thing I don't agree with, I do think it still has a value. It doesn't have a value at probably the price point that we're thinking at. Maybe
PC has a value.
Well, yeah, that's true on that end. But I just think, the thing is, if they would
PC will
just
still get their games. PC will still get their games. Like
Yeah.
Microsoft is still going to be here to make games. They're the number 2, number 3 largest publisher in the world. They're going to continue to make money in gaming. It's just
Yeah.
they
The hardware.
potentially may cut their biggest loss, which is the hardware, which
Yeah.
a lot of people probably can't complain because they see these numbers negative for the last freaking
Listen,
10 years.
if
You know,
they would have
I'm
just
gonna say this before I get out of here because I got to get out of here, Mooch. I'll say this: everything now is a trial. It's kind of a new arc. They're
Like
gonna
the
see
ads,
if,
D?
if
Like
it's
the
successful.
like the ads they're gonna put in the Game Pass.
Throw darts at a board.
Once Asha Sharma came out this week and said she's got like a year to turn things around. If you don't see the turnaround in a year, they're gonna continue to make games. They're gonna rethink their strategy on their multi-platform games, seeing how they're not making their own platform. They're probably gonna expand that out, and the Helix will still go on as it is, but that will probably be the last console that they actually. And it's a sad day because I don't think gaming is better off without Microsoft. I think we need competition to keep Sony, to keep Nintendo, to keep everybody honest. And you can like Xbox or not like Xbox. I want them to at least be around. I want them to at least make enough money so that they are around, and it keeps everyone else in check. I got to get out of here, Mooch. Thanks for having me. Thanks. Good to see you, Jay.
definitely,
Later,
brother.
Wise Old Gamer, Wolfgang, Forte, Gaming Ledger.
Yo, great to
Of course,
have you
Mooch.
here with us, D. Thank you for hanging out.
Same thing for me, Mooch. I gotta go. I gotta start my stream.
Yeah, Wolf, have a great stream, buddy. Appreciate you being here as well. Shout out to Wolf and D Batch. Great panel members. Outstanding to have you guys here with us tonight. Thank you, D. Thank you, Wolf.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Wolf.
To tack on to what D was saying, let me ask you guys this, because I've been saying this for a while, but and I'm known for being wrong every now and then. Every now and then.
Every now and again, right, Jay? That's it. Just a
every
few
now and
times.
again. You know what I'm saying? Just to test the waters. But I just have this feeling, man. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and when we see reports talking about Microsoft trimming the fat, cutting the studios down, get rid of stuff that doesn't really do anything, so they can slim down and make Xbox slim, so they can potentially sell to somebody where it can be more viable. Those things are not brought out of anywhere. That comes from these numbers we've been seeing for years. And then, obviously they got to keep the people they have temporarily, right? They got to keep that. They don't want the people to go anywhere. So they got to hype those people up and keep them going. But I think Microsoft's ultimate goal is to get out of their hardware. And I think it's going to be a lot sooner than later, because I still don't believe. Why would you throw a $1,500 console out there, something that is not going to sell, right? Why would you throw that out there expecting it to fail, because it's going to fail? And then when it failed, then you'll say, hey, listen, at least we tried. Like, why even waste that money?
Well, let me add another wrinkle to this whole situation too, as well, that people are not thinking about as well. Microsoft's bread is buttered by these data centers that they're making for all of this AI crap that they're doing. This Azure stuff, all of the stuff that they're doing, that is where their bread is being buttered. Now, here's the problem that people are not fathoming here. Xbox has never made a profit for Microsoft to the point where it has ever meant anything to Microsoft. I mean, it is such a small division that even when they were profitable, it was like adding a drop of water to the freaking ocean. It's like, okay, thank you, I guess. I mean, but here's the question. As we know, these RAM prices are going up, and they are not going to be abating until about 2030, 2031. Microsoft still wants to make new data centers. They want to build these things, and these things have to have these RAM chips that are going in that are going to cost Microsoft out of pocket more money. Where are they going to get this money from? They're going to look at their balance sheet and look at this ledger, and they look at this one division that's teetering here, there. Sometimes it makes profit, sometimes it doesn't. Even if it doesn't make profit, if it does make profit, it's a penny on the dollar. What do you think is going to do? What do you think they're going to cut to get the extra capital to pay off these RAM prices that are going up?
If you look at their moves, right? Like, if you look at PlayStation, they're pretty easy to see what they're doing. Like, when they say they want to be the best place to publish, obviously scrapping plastic for digital is going to help publishers, right? And when they say they want to be the best place to play, it's probably because of optimization and exclusives, right? So, but when you look at Xbox, it's like every month it's different, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like they're trying their best to salvage it, right? They're going to cut until, or if something grows organically, that's great too for them. But I think the idea is to spin this around, get this net positive from a profit perspective. And only way I see that actually working is with their big games, right? Like the Call of Duties and the Activision stuff, right? I just don't. And for hardware, they're like, yeah, it's a loss leader.
But from a corporate perspective, what it's looking like they're doing is that they're making their balance sheet on the Xbox platform look prettier, so they can sort of sell this off to somebody else.
So
that's
what
I
thought about that, right? Like if you look at their balance sheet, it is not good anywhere. Anywhere you look at it, it's all negatives, right? So it's like if you're gonna put this into a place where it's effectively making money, and let's just say it's the only way to do that is basically effectively becoming what they bought, which is Activision. Who are you gonna sell that to? Who are you gonna sell Call of Duty to? Would you rather just keep it and just make the money and just do the very bare minimum until it's no longer appetizing for Call of Duty players? Like I don't know.
Well, if you notice, you guys should recall recently, Asha took Minecraft and Candy Crush and stuck it up under her wing. She tucked it under her arm. Why? Because that is the where all the gaming money comes in. That's the profit.
Good for her bonus too.
Yeah, and we found out they were taking all of the money that Candy Crush and Minecraft was making, and they were using that to fund other failed Xbox, games and studios and stuff like that. So they're just making these moves that just listen. I'm in the business world. I've seen this stuff all the time, and I'm like, okay, guys, I hear what they say, but it's less about what they say and watch what they do.
Right.
When
and to your point, it's sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just to your point, like they are in the red, so nobody's gonna buy Xbox as it is as a brand right now, right? Like it just doesn't make sense financially. So if they go and strip it down, or let's say organically one of the games takes off, it might be valuable, but at that point, it's like you might as well just keep it, right? Like if it's profitable, why not, right? You won't give it attention, and I just don't see, like, then they effectively just become a publisher, right? At that point, it's it is what it is.
Well,
right? You're no
listen,
longer
so
looking at Xbox.
Ledger, here's an interesting. So these are some notes right from Satya himself. Highlights, this is Microsoft outlines its plans for Xbox in its annual financial report. One of them, we are focused on growing the platform and expanding to new ecosystems to engage as many gamers as possible.
Yeah, it's the streaming, and that's the PC and all that stuff.
But when you say, but what you're streaming, and that's fine. But like, does that mean that they're going to stay console exclusive?
Well, they're not console exclusive right now for a lot of their games, right?
No. Well, what do you mean? Well, no, they're not with the games that are coming out in 27 because those have already been announced. But I'm saying to you, let's go further than 27. Are they going to just do PC, Xbox, and of course TVs? Streaming. That's it?
You mean for the single player games, like the non-COD and?
Well, Forte was saying it earlier. I don't believe. I think Fallout 5. I think Elder Scrolls 6. And I think you're going to have New Vegas. I think these are going to PlayStation.
I think so too, because that's where your players are.
Right.
If you want it,
so what the hell is staying? Yeah. So what is staying to Xbox consoles only? That's all they're making because they've turned all their studios into now Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Halo, Forza. That's what they're going to be making. Gears.
Yeah, Mooch, like at some point they might just say it's not working. It's just not working out financially and go back to full multiplayer.
Yeah, that's where I think it is at this point. I think the decision hasn't truly been 100% made that those games are going to go to PlayStation, even though, and I think that's kind of the direction they're leaning in, because they probably already know the writing's on the wall. And they're not, of course, they're not going to come out and say that. But the biggest thing is, how is the business going to change for Microsoft and for Xbox over the course of the next 12 to 24 months? That's going to really dictate it. Now, if they can find a way to get a foothold and reverse a lot of the damage that happened with the platform itself on a platform level over the next 2 years, then there is probably a chance that they could keep that stuff exclusive, because then they'll have a viable platform that they know they can sell games in. The problem is, you went on almost 10 years, almost a decade of telling people you don't have to have a console, you don't have to have an Xbox, and you don't have to buy games. You could just play them inside of Game Pass.
They went 2 console generations. Flops, right? And that's
and that's the biggest thing that always was like the baffling thing to me about the whole conversation, because you can still tell a person they should have the console by saying you're getting these exclusive benefits for this, and you're getting, day one access to this over here. But if you do want to play somewhere else and you do want to play on other platforms, it's available for you. But if you're on the Xbox console, this is what you're going to get. They didn't do that. They just went full tilt and said, you don't have to have this and you could play there. And then on top of that, they started putting their games on the competitor's platform. And we all said this a long time ago. I don't care what any gamer, they're lying to your face. Everybody would prefer to have one console in their house. Everybody can't afford to have 2. Most people only have one. Half the time people have extra consoles just so they can try to stone on somebody else and say, well, I have an Xbox or I have a PlayStation, so I can talk about this. But they probably don't buy any games on it. They probably don't have anything that they want to play on it at all. They just have it just because they want to have some type of bragging rights to the conversation. But at the end of the day, the 2 console or 3 console household, that's over, man. It's like most people cannot afford the prices that this stuff is going to come out at. Like right now, we're going to have a Switch 2 that's going to be $600 almost.
Right.
A Switch 2.
Well, listen, we got Forte, we got an $800 Steam Deck.
Exactly. We got $880, $1,050. Yeah,
I think it's $900.
Yeah, it's $900.
Oh, is it $900? My fault. I was giving them a break.
$1,200 for the one I priced.
Damn.
Yeah. If you want the OLED, well, you're at like $1,150 or something like that. Then you got PlayStation 5 Pros at $900. You got Series X's at $750. They're about to be $750 starting August 1st, which is in 2 days. So the market, it's literally phasing people out. Like, that's why I always tell people, like, I'm so happy that I bought my stuff when I bought it. But even myself, I can't see myself going out and buying a Helix and then going out and buying a PS6 and then God forget, what is an OLED for the Switch 2 going to come out at? If the base Switch 2 is going to be $550, what's an OLED going to cost me? So, and I want to still upgrade the stuff on my PC. I'm still stuck on AM4, which is my 5990. Good, thank God, I bought a really good CPU for my PC, and I haven't had to do anything to it. I upgraded my GPU 2 years ago when I got my 4090, so I'm pretty good still. But I want to upgrade my CPU and my motherboard, but I'm not about to pay $1,500 just for 2 pieces of equipment that I need, and then I got to buy the RAM on top of that. So It's just we're in a space where everything is super expensive, and once again, this goes back what Microsoft did. Xbox lost the worst generation they could lose in the PS4 era. Phil Spencer came out and said it himself, and they put themselves behind the 8 ball in probably the worst financial crisis when it comes to hardware, because they don't have an identity in hardware anymore. They threw the identity out the window when they spread the Xbox name too thin by saying that everything is an Xbox and you don't have to have one. But I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well,
sorry, just real quickly. Like, yeah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to come back. right? You've lost so much goodwill, and obviously like the RAM crisis and everything. But like I always come back to this point, which when I debate people that are huge Xbox fans and they talk about Helix or Game Pass, like how in this platform world they miss the point that your store is your engine. Like you got to get people in there buying games, right? You make the 30% or the 15%, whatever the cut is, the accessories. Like your store is your engine, and I don't see how all this points to Xbox having a better store. Even on the PC, like they could build up that store, but instead they want to put their games on Steam, which makes it pointless as to why anybody would buy your games on, like, if your exclusive game should be on your PC app. They're just doing too many. Their moves are just contradictory, right? And I don't know where they're gonna go.
Yeah,
and that's where
it went from play your games anywhere, right, to we're gonna focus on the console, to we realize you all don't have a console, so we're gonna put it on 150 million TVs, to we want gamers to play on different ecosystems, which you guys immediately said, oh, that's the TVs. I didn't read it that way. I read that as in see you guys on Switch, see you on PlayStation, see you on PC, see you on TVs, see you on phones.
And also remember this: we have plenty of historical record of hardware companies going multi-platform. Atari did it first. You got Sega doing it.
Right.
Nobody has been able to. We don't have any historical precedent of somebody being multi-plat
and being successful in the hardware
and going backwards. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I guess PlayStation would be the closest.
It's counterintuitive. Sean Layden said it. Mikey Barber said it. It's just,
I know.
I mean, it doesn't take those guys to tell you what you know.
And everybody gives those guys a lot of crap online, Jay. And these are two guys that were. You had the president of SIE, right? In one retrospect, and you had one of the top VPs, who then was the top. Then he became the president of Blizzard or something. Mike's resume is insane. Shout out to Bespoke. And Bespoke, I'm going to read this, but we may come back to it. He goes, it's crazy how not a single journalist has thought to ask Xbox if they plan on having discs next gen. It's been a month and they haven't said jack. I talked to Bespoke in the chat.
Because they're scared.
They're scared, but Jay, they know the answer.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to announce it, right? Because they don't want to take the hate off of PlayStation's shoulders. Grandpa Barbecue Game Cat says, and this is a good question for Ledger and Forte. He says, would Helix lose money if they locked PC games to their storefront?
Yeah, probably, because like, what's the adoption rate of the hardware?
Right.
Yeah. You're bringing over console gamers to PC. Now, some of them will move over as is. Others will say, yeah, I don't want this, right? I want my console. So if the hardware is locked down, I think that's a better business plan. Whether it works out, I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, that would just continue what they've been saying for the last 5-10 years. It's and I feel that way, and I'm pretty sure you all feel this way. It's like Microsoft can't stop focusing on everybody else, or Xbox rather. The executives, the decisions they make, they're focusing on everyone else. They're not focusing on the Xbox console and the Xbox gamers exclusively. They're okay. Like Asha just gave that statement. Oh, we brought 200 million, 150 million to TVs and this brand and that brand and Samsung and LG. And they're like, what does that have to do with this box that I spent $500 for or whatever? Like, focus on me, right? You got to keep me. Don't throw me to the curb. But you're focusing on what PlayStation. You're focusing on Nintendo. You're focusing on cloud. You're focusing on everybody else except the people who got you into the position that you're in. The diehards who, and let's face it, most of them are. Most of us at heart are console gamers. We have PCs and stuff too, but we still default back to the console.
Well, that was me up until like 3-4 years ago when all the decisions. I said at this point, if you're going to put your games in other places, why do I have to own the console?
Yeah.
So I traded my Series X. I mean, I still have a Series X, and my daughter has one, but I got rid of my Series X because I was like, there's no reason to have it. I have a PC that can do all of this. So I just went to PC for Xbox.
Well, the thing is, and I mean, I don't know
Well,
if this
you
is.
saw what Sony did. You saw what Sony was like, that's okay. We're gonna revert back to our tried and true PlayStation. We're just gonna focus here and there and that.
Yeah, except for, that's the thing. I was saying that to Wolf before the show started. Jay, you were there too. Like I was saying, like PlayStation literally said, "Hey, we're gonna do the exclusive thing now. Multiplayer games, they're gonna be everywhere. They're gonna be on PC and Xbox, right?" So like that's fine, but like when it comes to anything single player, they want to tie that to the console. They want to make their money in their ecosystem. This is very clear.
Yeah.
You know, and
they tried it. They they tried it. It failed, and they see the downside of the error in their ways.
Mm-hmm.
So they revert. They revert back. I would hope.
I think that was a Nishino call. I think it was Nishino because when he came out, I started seeing those signs. And back to Xbox, like the problem with Xbox is I think they like their client, they love their client base, but the problem is they want to make money now and they want to invest in the future. You can't do both. Like you're not gonna if you're gonna give exclusives away, then you're gonna take the bullet for a long time, right? Like you just have to build that over generations.
To be fair though, to Microsoft, they did give Phil, $100 billion to buy ZeniMax and ABK, thinking that they were gonna get some type of return back. And I get it; it takes time, but guys, let's face it. Apparently, the stuff that we're finding out now, that shit would have never worked anyway, right? We saw how bad Game Pass. We saw how bad Game Pass was doing. Well, we finally got some numbers. I think the console is in between 25 to 32 million copy. Like, come on, like that's not sustainable. And we all kind of said that. Even myself. When you got a good game come out, I'll subscribe for Game Pass for that month, and then I'll cancel my subscription and move on with life. And most people are like that. It's because you're not holding me to, you're not trapping me. You're not keeping me in a contract. You just allow me to show up when I want to and leave. Like I never understood that. At least lock me into a 6-month contract or a year contract if I'm going to have the capability. And maybe that would have worked out better for them, but the way they have it now, they were never going to get that 100 million Game Pass subscribers that they were trying to reach by 2030.
Well, also they were trying to do too much. They were trying to be a streaming service. They're trying to be a multi-platform service. Plus, they're trying to be a console maker, all at the same freaking time, and that made no sense to anybody. In fact, when Ashik took the helm and talked to Sean Layden, the first advice that man gave her was, "You either decide right now. You either are a multi-platform publisher." Or you're a console publisher, but you cannot be both.
Yeah.
That was the first bit of advice that Layden gave her. And that's what they had to decide.
Yeah, like every business needs to focus in on their core business model. Like in PlayStation and Nintendo's, it's the store. The hardware is your entrance into the store. With Microsoft, it was that way. And then obviously they did a Hail Mary with Game Pass, thinking that's the future, the Netflix of gaming. Publishers didn't want to go on Game Pass for obvious reasons, so then they bought up ABK and Bethesda. And I think at the end of the day, that's the move that sunk Xbox. And I don't think you can pivot back to hardware.
No, the decisions that were made wrong. Period. From the day one. Okay.
Right.
I get the fact that you lost a PS4 generation, whatever, but to carry that as a freaking crutch all the way through is stupid.
Yeah.
Because
each generation starts over.
Yes.
Exactly.
Well,
so
it's funny, right? Jay, you know what's interesting though? I will say this much. Mm-hmm. I think that what you just said has truth to it, because I think with what they were pitching when this generation started, with having an affordable $299 entry price, right? And then at the time it was $10. It was still $10 at the time, or shortly a little above it, $10, $12 for Game Pass. It was a very, very appeasing kind of sales pitch, right? But the whole putting the games everywhere, and I don't mean PlayStation, I mean PC, this and that. You could do and then they jacked the price up on Game Pass. That went up quickly as the generation continued, right? This whole thing, it was very confusing. But I will say, the reason you didn't see the momentum, it wasn't because necessarily they had a smaller, a cheaper SKU and a $10 Game Pass. it really is what Phil was saying. I do think this generation, because of the lack of availability, if you will, of PS5s and Xbox Series X's due to COVID, right, in 2020, this generation really didn't start picking up, believe it or not, till almost like last year. And what I mean by that is, calm down, everybody. What I mean by that literally is you still had all these games like Call of Duty. This is the first Call of Duty that's going to be this gen only, right? Like the rest of them have all been saying, hey, you got a PS4, Xbox One? No problem. Play it over there. Fortnite, play it over there. Apex, play it over there. Everything was play it over there. So where you and Wise and I and Forte and Ledger are so used to what happened in the 360 era going to PS, you had to get a PS4 or an Xbox One. You had to get off the, get on the bus or get the hell out of here. Now that same thing is going to happen again. So what happens is you had the bleed over of PS4 into the PS5. And they killed, PlayStation killed them on the PS4 era, right? It was 117 to 60 million. Now all of a sudden, now we're flirting with 100 million over with PlayStation. Xbox is flirting with high 30s, right? So that situation now they gotten destroyed twofold. So now as they go into PS6, a lot of people are going to hold on to if the PS6 is $800-900, something like that, and the Xbox is $1,200. Not everyone, a lot of people are going to hold on to their PS5 Pros, PS5s and Xbox Series X's. So now you're going to have that lag continue from PS4 to PS5 to PS6. So what Phil was saying is I understand what you're saying as a crutch wise, but legitimately he wasn't lying. He was actually speaking with his chest and his heart right there. He was like, we lost. And it's hard to get everybody back because no matter how much you hear about the protests and things like that, people have put so much money into the digital content that they own now on the PlayStation platform from PS4 to today that it is really hard to be like, I'm selling this and I'm moving back to Xbox. Oh, you're going to leave the 200 games you bought between 2013 and 2028? I mean, listen, some people in the audience right now are like, damn right I am. Good for you. That's not the majority of people. I mean, consumer wise, that doesn't hold water. So, that's my whole thing. So I think
you're right. You're right, Mooch. You're right. But when Phil said that, I didn't like when he said that. And the reason
I hear you.
The reason I didn't like it is not because he was wrong. He was, that is the wrong attitude to take.
Correct.
Right? That's
Correct.
Like a give up.
He didn't have to say it.
We've seen. Look at the PS3 generation. Xbox stumped PS3 out like more than half of that generation. Did they give up? No, they doubled down on great quality games, and some great quality games will bring you back in the game, and that's literally what they did.
That's correct.
And that's how they were able to come back. So Phil saying that, it made it seem like he wasn't even going to try. Remember when he said Starfield can beat 11 out of 10, it ain't going to change anything. I'm like, what the?
You're right there. Yeah.
Make sure that Starfield 11 out of 10
not just Starfield
will change some mind. Yeah, it's not one game, and I get it, not one game, but it has to be a consecutive. Show some effort. You drop a good game, great. Follow that up with another good game, and then people be like, you know what? These guys have been on a roll. Right? They've been okay. Maybe they've learned their lesson. Let me go ahead and invest in the Xbox. Let me go ahead and. That's how you build up that goodwill. Now, do they screw up? Absolutely, they screw up all the time. But one thing they have with the fans is they have goodwill in the fact that they had 30 years of producing high quality content that gamers want, and so gamers are willing to give them that extra leeway when they fail, when they create some of them duds that they didn't create it, right? It's the goodwill. It's like you're giving me more greatness than you are duds. And not every game is a sure shot, right? But let's face it, if you got a PlayStation, out of 10 times, 7 out of those 10 times, you're gonna get a game that you like. It's gonna be a good quality game. With Xbox, man, I mean, let's face it, all last generation, Xbox was known for being that 69 Metacritic yellow score, right? The stuff, we know that, right? All the jokes and stuff like that. How do you get Xbox from stop being a joke again? Create some good quality, and it has to be new, not the same Halo, Gears, and Forza we've been having for the last 25 years. New IP, and it has to be good, and it has to compete, and it has to be compelling. That's all gamers are asking for.
Well, you know,
And
though,
that's
Jay,
that's
you know,
for
Jay,
all sides.
so Jay, I agree. Listen, everything you just said, I think is gospel, right? Hear me out. I'm with you. But the thing I got to say to you is that you have new games like Clockwork Revolution, right? You had South of Midnight. You had Redfall. I know you're going to laugh at some of them, but I'm just trying to say you had Starfield, right? Todd Howard's Baby, right? All these things are out there. These were some of those were bangers, like bangers in name. Some of them were flops, right? But they're new IP. That didn't bring people over. I think at some point they were like, this shit isn't working. And
Mooch, I've always said this, Mooch. I've always said Microsoft doesn't have anybody on that team that knows what a good quality game is. They don't know the heartbeat of the gamers.
Listen,
and what
Jay,
gamers want.
Jay, let me say this. I agree with you. And now I think with this new organization, the new Xbox brass, they know less.
That's true.
Because I think, say what you want about.
At least they're using some common sense. At least Asha is like, I don't know shit. Okay, let me go to people who know stuff. Okay, what games?
Yeah, well,
you
say,
want?
but wise, you say that, but then her whole team is AI.
She got rid of id. She got rid of
I don't
like any gamer tell you id was not the team. Like they're the one that's consistent.
Yeah,
making high quality 90 rated games. Those are the last people you want to cut.
I hear you. And wise, that's what a lot of the community's saying is, oh, she's listening to the community. Listen, whatever. Like she's doing what she has to do her job, and I think she's doing her job to keep her job, right? She's doing it right.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you at the same time is she replaced the people that were in air quotes people that gamed. Like there was people like back in the day, like she had nothing to do with this. But Ibarra plays games. Dude was streaming games, right? You have Phil. Phil played games. He made games, right? Now you have an entire team on Xbox that's AI. That's the AI guys from Microsoft and women from Microsoft that are AI driven. Like they're coming over. I'm not saying they're making bad calls. We're going to find out what their calls are going to, what the actual results will be. But it's not like that's the thing. They move farther away from the gamer executive. That was the thing with Phil when Phil got in there back in 2014. They're like, finally, it's not just a suit. It's not just a suit. We got a gamer in house. We got somebody who plays games, made games. He gets it. And now everyone's like, well, Asha's got it. It's like Asha is extremely intelligent. She knows what she's doing. She was extremely successful. Look at her resume. Extremely successful. But she's coming from a background in AI. She's walking into games saying, I don't really know this. It's taking her a while. She's got to talk to people in the industry, this and that. But Microsoft, who's she reaching out to? More suits. So it's like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But these moves right now are they're business. It's Ledger. You're the one that follows this, Ledger. This is business. They see that they're right. They have a situation right now where they're underwater. She said the business is not healthy. They're laying off. That's the number one way to get your finances back in order again. They start with that, and then they're going to go back to Old Faithful. Old Faithful is what they own. That's a household name. Halo, Forza, Gears, Fallout, Elder Scrolls. See you later. That's it. They even took Oblivion and they said, stop making that new IP. You're going to make New Vegas too.
Obsidian.
Yeah. What did I say? I meant Obsidian. I'm sorry. Oblivion's again. I'm sorry. Obsidian. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm talking too fast.
If you look at if you look at Asha's, right? She was put into this position, right? If you look at those interviews that she's did, I think it was with Bloomberg. She doesn't sound like or seem like she actually wanted to be a part of Xbox. It was just somebody told her, and most likely Satya. It's like, hey, come in there, come in here. You want to move up, clean this stuff up. Your AI stuff isn't quite working out the way it is, but we see what you're doing here. So come help this, get your second life over here, clean up, optimize this business here, and move on. Right? That's probably what's going to happen. Was the first thing I think she reached out to Sean Layden, as you mentioned, Jay, but she went to Matt Ball. That's how she doesn't know much about the industry, because she probably looked at, hey, who's out there? There's analysts. And
she kept Matt Booty. She kept Matt Booty on that. Everything, right?
But when you look at these CEOs that come into these positions, they often go and obtain analysts. Now analysts, we can all analyze stuff, but can we execute?
Right.
No, not necessarily. Right. So that's where she is. She's just trying to figure out how to navigate everything that's been given to her, and so she's trying different things. I think the first, like, let's be honest, right? The first time she went, she got that whole Phil Spencer, let's talk to the community to chat them up. Like, she got that that strategy from somebody else, right, within the business.
Yeah.
When they were brought in, they're like, "Here, do this." Because the first thing she does, go look at her tweets. They're AI tweets.
Yes.
Hey, I'm a gamer. I'm a gamer.
Mhm.
Like,
I hear you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
I hear you.
But then she mentioned some really random games that you would know that only hardcore gamers would be playing. And then she goes on these Bloomberg calls. She's like, "Yeah, first of all, I'm not a gamer. I barely played." Right. And so it's like, it's bullshit. Call it out. It is what it is. You went down that road. You're lucky because the hardcore base that's going to stick with Xbox, regardless of who's in power, is okay with you, right? And they're not going anywhere. They're not going to leave until it's time to turn off the lights.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But she's also.
I got to run. My dog is sniffing the ground. He's got to.
No problem, Wise. Great to have you, Wise. Always great to have the great Wise Old Gamer with Wise. Always great conversation, buddy. So Mariko says people are nervous about Xbox leaving console space. Counter argument. What if the reason new companies aren't interested in console gaming is because they don't want to get into a money fight with Microsoft? What if the reason new companies aren't interested in console gaming is because Mariko, if I'm reading it right and I'm answering you correctly, the way that I kind of see it is you had Amazon put their foot in the pool and they're kind of still there with Luna. I've never ever in my life, even in the gaming community online, have I ever seen anybody be like, I cannot wait till this workday is over. I'm going to go home. I'm going to pick up that new game on Luna and put my feet up and play the game. Never heard anybody say that. But right, Apple is making a fortune right now with Apple Arcade. They're like, we have no competition. We just threw this thing on to our $20 a month service on Apple One or whatever they call the Apple Family Plan, and they have no reason to get into this hardware mess that's going on right now. I don't know if I don't think it's nobody wants to mess with Microsoft money. Google tried it with Stadia and they bailed fast, right? So. What if those big companies that I'm telling you, Amazon, Apple, and Google, don't want to go into it? It's not because they don't have the money to go against Microsoft. They just don't want to do it. It didn't work, and they don't want to do it. So,
gaming is contracting, right? We're going through a phase of contraction. We had a boom period for COVID.
Yes,
that just bursted, right? So we're now going back to our 2018, 2019 levels, and this is the worst time for anybody to enter into this space, right? Like, at least I'll qualify it by saying high-end gaming. You can probably do the indie stuff. You can do the Apple Arcade, sure, but then at that point, you're just it's like saturated market, right? So yeah, I don't think Microsoft being in. Actually, I think if they had left when in a more, like, let's say if the industry was okay, like this whole RAM prices and the tariffs and all the stuff that the macroeconomic pressures that are happening didn't exist, I would think that somebody might be willing to get in if Xbox wasn't there, because you have one less entrant in the game. But
well, I mean, maybe, but they've seen the world's richest company struggle in gaming for the last. I mean, let's call it last 16, 17 years.
They would have to be a creative company, though, Jay, not like a software. Azure, like Microsoft is not a creative company. I can see like Apple. I don't know. They make creative devices and software, but I don't think they're the same company that Steve Jobs had in mind when he was the CEO. It's PlayStation and Nintendo cornered the market in terms of console gaming, and then of course you got PC, which is an open platform. So, I mean, one thing I think that Apple can do on the PC market is make their gaming on a MacBook better, because it's actually closer to a console than having the PCs with the different profiles.
I just think whoever jumps in, they have to go against household brands. They have to go against the best in the industry. I mean, think about it. PlayStation came in back in '94, a fresh new face, and they just killed the market the moment they stepped in, and they haven't eased up then because it's the company depends on it. It's the company's bread and butter, and they can't afford to let any competition in. So I can.
Let's be
This
honest,
is why
too.
they're doing handhelds, and this is why they're
Jay,
doing VR. They have no choice but to do that to survive.
Yeah, there's always one that kind of makes it out of each fight, right? So you have a situation where
Yeah.
Nintendo was going against Sega. And shout out to Mariko. He says, right, but what about Sega? They've recently been successful in software and recovered since Dreamcast. Exactly, Mariko. They recovered since Dreamcast. They don't want to get back into that. They are successful right now. They're making a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So, but when you look at it, Nintendo beat Sega, and I say that, and I know a lot of Sega people are going to go, that's bullshit. That's fine. You don't have to agree with it, but Nintendo's still around. And then PlayStation went head-to-head with Xbox, and PlayStation's looking to be the victor of that one. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, when you're an incumbent, right, and you've been there for the long haul, because PlayStation was out before Xbox, like, you have a situation where you have so many gamers that now affiliate certain games to a certain platform because it just feels right? That's just the way people, like, how many people say that? They're like, Final Fantasy feels at home on you fill in the blank, right? Like, you know what I mean? People will say that all the time. Oh, I'm going to play Metal Gear. That feels at home at PlayStation. Some people say, oh, I like playing my Final Fantasy games on Nintendo Switch. Okay. You know what I mean? That's where they first played it. That's where home is for that title. So when you have a new company come in, I'm not saying it's impossible, but they're fighting quite an uphill battle. And these are small little caveats that change the purchasing direction of a lot of consumers. And we talk about it, but we kind of just wave right past it, and we don't think about that enough sometimes. Yeah.
Mooch, like I think I mentioned this on a previous show, but when Nintendo and Sony are successful and they're hitting on cylinders, it is difficult for number three. Whoever that number three is.
It is.
Sega was number three.
Absolutely.
And when Xbox started picking momentum, I mean, the Wii was one thing. It technically wasn't a high-end console, but it started when the GameCube started to start.
Oh, really?
And then, of course, like obviously PS3 was a bit of a debacle, which gave them an opportunity to come in. But the two tentpole companies, Nintendo and PlayStation, are doing well. It's just very hard.
Delivery. You can still pull it up, right?
Hey, Forte, mute your mic real quick, Forte.
I think he's getting something delivered.
Yeah, the Forte. Well, no, he's probably doing a late shift tonight. Forte.
Yeah, I got it.
Can you just mute your mic real quick? Thank you, Forte. I don't know if he heard me.
It sounds like he muted it, but you can still kind of hear it.
I miss. You guys have no idea. Anybody that's to the channel, maybe in the past year or so, Forte was a regular panel member for the longest time. Forte is the best, man. Forte knows what he's doing, man, and I always love his take on gaming. Shout out also to the great Glinser. He says Dodgers spent a ton and won. Microsoft spent a ton, and I mean, spending doesn't always work. Look at the Mets. Mm-hmm. Damn it. Anyway, who's talking sports? Grandpa Barbecue comes back. He says, for Microsoft, how many generations before no console, just cloud? Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say I think Helix is probably the last from first party.
I would think if it is the way like the leaks are suggesting, I can't call Helix a console. It's a PC.
Yes, and so now the traditional console, Ledger, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of people thought that Xbox was going to go back to the drawing board. I think they're going to stick with what Helix is. I think it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be it'll be a very powerful, basically PC. I guess you could say console hybrid, Ledger, unless you won't sign off on that.
I can't because if it's a PC, it's running Windows. Like even if you try to lock it down and make it feel like a console, it's always going to be a PC. Look, I've been playing on Linux for a long time. Mm-hmm. I understand that people think that Steam OS is a console-like experience. I'll tell you right now, it's not. It's not as easy as you can plug and play. You got like a DualSense on you, right? There are still inherent issues that are going to pop that you're gonna have to get your you have to troubleshoot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is it better than the 90s and the 2000s? Of course.
Mm-hmm.
But is it a console?
So
no.
Okay, so so Slimy originally was asking in the chat, why are you guys? Let me see if I can read his original one here. Let me go back a second, you guys. Why are you all pro anti-consumer practice? And I said that's not true. None of us are anti-consumer practice. He goes, you all literally just appraised PlayStation for removing their games off PC. You all hate the Xbox puts their games off all platforms. Slimy, are you paying attention to anything? So Xbox in 2016 decided to go ahead and put their games on PC and Xbox. Slimy, look what that did to the Xbox. Like, are you paying
day too?
Are you paying attention, Slimy? The reason that you hear certain people in the PlayStation camp excited about that, it's not that I don't really care if PC people got to play it or not a year later. That doesn't make any difference to me. I have a PC, I have a PlayStation. My point being is that it seems to erode and kill the console. And you may go, that doesn't matter. It certainly matters, especially when you're talking about PlayStation. Sony themselves are extremely reliant on PlayStation. If PlayStation falters, Sony basically could falter, right? And PlayStation's gone. Xbox and Microsoft have the money to they can bounce back. Like, I think you even heard people say it on the panel. They can bounce back if things don't work. If Game Pass doesn't work, they'll survive. If the console doesn't work, they'll survive. That's not the case for Nintendo and PlayStation.
Oh, hold on, Mooch. Have I been sounding like crap this whole entire show?
Yes, I thought you were on your phone.
What?
Yes,
I was coming through my headset on my.
Oh, I was going to ask you that, but we all didn't. Everybody, I thought you were at work.
No, I'm at home. I was sitting here on my computer, and I was like, my mixer is freaking muted. How the heck can they hear me? And then I was like, why is Discord showing my?
I know you have a fantastic setup for it, but when I heard, and then you were having side conversations, I thought you were talking to coworkers.
Oh no, man! I'm at home, and
we just said,
wait a minute.
We just said that we were like, oh, Forte. I think Ledger was like, I think he just got a delivery or something because you were like talking. That's why.
My store called me about people trying to pick up same day deliveries. I'm like, that's weird this late at night, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, okay. So
see,
yeah.
No, you're good. You sound great now, but Slimy still doesn't get it. Slimy, you got to listen to a lot of different podcasts, not just the same two you're listening to. He says it made Xbox the largest third-party publisher console platform. Wrong. Made them the largest third-party publisher. Not console. They're in last place in console.
Yeah. There's only 25 to 30 million consoles out there.
Plus Microsoft. I don't understand this too, Slimy. I know you know the numbers, okay? You don't you can't pretend you don't know in one category, but you're a genius in the other. Microsoft can bail themselves out. Here he is again. Microsoft makes the Surface laptops, tablets, and those things barely sell. They're a $4 trillion company, Slimy. I think Sony's worth somewhere around $250 billion. Try the calculator. Check it out. Yes.
And Mooch, about the Surface, they're actually using that in a different way. Like they give that to corporate clients.
Yes.
As a throw-in, right? You sign up this subscription, like, hey, you don't go to Dell. We have these for you, right? Like, so they're using them in different ways. It's not like it's their bread and butter.
Right.
That's why they keep it around.
Yes.
If it was just, and you can barely get them as a consumer, right? Like, you can't get them. There's not too many in retail stores, like with actual stock. So
it's just, so Slimy, that's the thing. It's not that we don't want it, or you're just hearing what you want to hear. I'm telling you right now, we saw the blueprint. PlayStation, forget what we think on the panel. Like Ledger just said, we're making assumptions off of what we're reading, what we're seeing, right? PlayStation saw the blueprint of what happens when you take your games and put them on day and date. What happens eventually? It took from 2016 till now, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It ultimately, like I think Forte said it. If you're going to put all your games on PC, that's why like Gears E-Day's coming out. I'm buying it on Steam. Now Microsoft says thank you very much, but if they're not going to have continued consoles, and they're doing this Helix, which is a PC hybrid thing, I'm just going to buy my Xbox games now on PC. Again, Microsoft doesn't care. You don't care. But the console has disappeared from my home. And that is not what PlayStation wants. They are dependent on that console. I don't think it's very difficult to figure out. And who is it? P Lump. P Lump, I can tell you haven't been here very long. Every single week on Twitter, I put, here, I'll even read it to you. Why not? Let's do a little promo here for CrossFire, everybody. Little promo. Jay, you know this. Ledger knows this. Join Mooch in the panel as we discuss the week's hottest gaming news and rumors. I literally say that every week, and it's been 12 years. I thought this was a PlayStation channel. You all talked about Xbox the whole show. Well, P-Lump, welcome to the channel. Please hit the subscribe button, and I appreciate you being here. We talk about the weekly news. Look at every title. I don't do any clickbait. It's just Xbox had brutal financial report. And actually, believe it or not, brutal was in a lot of the Xbox channel's titles. Gears E-Day multiplayer today. Digital sales growing. That's what the whole thing is. The whole thing is the last three, I say PlayStation protest. Now I'm saying the digital sales are growing. That's the reports. The reports are coming out that even with the protest, they're seeing digital sales growth. Halo CE sales. How that's affecting what may be how they judge what Gears ends up looking like on sales. Listen, P-Lump, I don't know what to tell you. I've been saying this for a long time. It's not a PlayStation channel. It's not Xbox channel. We talk about the news. And we had D's Xbox. They don't want to believe it. You want to go by like just titles. D was Xbox. Forte Xbox. Wise Xbox. Ledger PlayStation. Probably more fan. J-Dub doesn't. I don't even have to say. Jay
actually Xbox in 2000s, then PC, and now I kind of made.
Jay that don't play consoles no more. He a PC guy.
I'm an everybody guy.
Jay's everybody. Jay's a people person.
That man got a $8,000 racing rig.
He does. But yeah, listen, P-Lump, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Join us next week. You'll see that the titles will be what the news is in the week. Now, yeah, you're going to get biases. What channel are you watching that doesn't? I mean, everyone has something that they truly like. It doesn't matter what you watch. Even if you watch like a food YouTube channel, you'll know that if somebody's doing like sandwich reviews and they love the sandwich that's coming from Chick-fil-A for some reason, they're going to tell you, you know what? I'm reviewing Dave's hot chicken, but I'll tell you, it's got nothing on the old Chick-fil-A, right? But, everyone's got a bias. Everyone prefers one thing over the other, but we try to bring some different thoughts to the table. And, I'm not saying you have to love it, but it's kind of what the foundation is. But shout out to P-Lump. P-Lump, I appreciate the super chat. I appreciate you being here. But yeah, it is what it is. And we talked about the Sony protest at the end of August, P-Lump. We talked about it the first hour. So it is what it is. You try to do a good show. It's not, it's not, I understand it's not for everybody, but it is what it is.
I sympathize with them a little bit because I was a pretty big Sega fan back in the day.
Well, listen, the console wars go way back, Ledger.
Yeah. No, I was, my first console was a Nintendo Entertainment System. So technically, I don't think I fall into one of these categories.
Right.
I know a lot of people think, honestly, if I'm covering PlayStation, it's because they're the most relevant from a business standpoint. They give me all the stats and stuff. I tried to decipher what Xbox is doing, but there's nothing there in their quarterlies. It's literally just bad news, and there's nothing I can actually strip apart and say, oh, maybe this is a strategy that they can go by. So It is what it is, right? It's going through the motions of being a fan of a product that's not doing well.
So, shout out to P-Lump. He's back again. P-Lump says Xbox sales wasn't just up 86%. Here's the thing, though, P-Lump, okay? P-Lump, if you had $1 in sales yesterday in your business, and then tomorrow you make $2, and you go home, you're like, I made 100% more than I made last time. It's still not a lot. They did have great sales. Xbox had great sales. This in the month, I believe it was the month that was the report. I think was month of June, but the thing is, they still came in third place. P-Lump. So
they don't provide the actual numbers, right? So
no, yeah, you know what I mean. It's you guys just 86%. Like I said, you could double your sales, but if you only made $10 yesterday and then today you made 20, I got news for you. It's hard to pay the electric bill still, isn't it? It's
good question. Does he not see these financial numbers and
no, I mean,
how does he not
he's
know
just
this?
looking at the one thing that was, and don't get me wrong, that's a good sign. Let's do this, P-Lump. Let's see if it's 86% or 100% or 280% next month. Right? Let's keep going in the right direction. Let's hope. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. Yeah, and like you said, that's the thing is that they're down 10%. Let me see. I think I have the shout out to the great Nib. Nib will hopefully be back next week. But Nib did he's just got all the numbers right here. It's not great. Here it is. Gaming, hey, P-Lump, this is for you because you love numbers. Gaming revenue, minus 10%. Xbox content services revenue, minus 10%. Xbox hardware, minus 13%. Like, do those numbers not count? They sold more consoles, and they were up by 86%. I don't know if it was year over year, but remember, they've been down 30% in hardware quarter after quarter after quarter for the last 2 years. So when you're like, they went up, if you go to the casino Monday through Sunday and you lose $100 every day, and then on Saturday, you win, I don't know, I'm making this up, $200, right? But you're still down $500. So you can't be like, hey, I won $200. That's good. That's great. That's really good. And I hope on Sunday you crush it. But until you actually make back what you've lost over all this, you gotta you can't really exactly go throw yourself a party. So I mean, that's the way I look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Who knows?
Like, so they're quarterly. Like, I was going to write a post about it, but then I was like, there's no point. It's like this every quarter. It's either the metrics are down. The only thing that was different this quarter was that they said they had impairment charges, right? So any fan out there that doesn't understand what impairment charges are, you're admitting that your assets were overvalued, so you're pulling them back.
They only understand that when you talk about Bungie or something like that, right? With PlayStation,
right?
They don't understand that when it's about Xbox.
And they never said what the impairment is on. So have at it. Like at Bungie, we know it was a bad deal, but from an Xbox standpoint, they're not even admitting what it is. Is it like ABK Studios that they've? Is it id Soft? Like nobody knows, right? So like that should tell you about the brand itself and what they actually believe about it. Like the numbers are telling you that it was overvalued.
What was overvalued, Ledger?
Their assets, right? Like so they overvalued their assets. They don't actually explicitly say which ones were overvalued, but the Xbox brand, just like if you go look at their quarterly,
yes,
they have impairment charges on it. They said due to, like, I forgot the exact line, but it was like they did a lot of layoffs and they had impairment charges. They just snuck that in there. That's a very big thing for a company. Like, that's nothing small.
No.
When you are like, I'm sure Shockey joins, he'll break it all down, right? But it's a bad sign.
So
you just
Ledger
overvalue your company.
Ledger P-Lump says, is PlayStation's numbers down? Yes or no? They are, but again, P-Lump, it's the reverse.
Relative. They've
been up all this time. Now year over year, they're showing one of their first down. That's like that's
Nintendo's.
You're right. It's like now it's the opposite. Again, I'm just using a quick analogy. It's not apples for apples. But again, it's like if you won $10,000 in the casino and then you lost $1,000. That sucks. But you're still up $9,000.
Yeah.
You see,
I mean,
how many you walk out with the money you came with first.
Yeah, you still got exactly. You're using house money. Is PlayStation's not going to be up every single month of every single year. I mean, Nintendo, everyone kind of has it. You have your ebb and flow, right?
You gotta have a regression every once in a while.
Yeah, that's not so. Yes, but that's not a gotcha moment.
No, and the whole industry is facing these headwinds, so everybody's gonna be down. Xbox has
this
been
is
down
also this is also
Xbox
the end of the generation, right? This is like the last couple of years of the
yeah,
generation. PlayStation is already they already sold their $100 million, 100 million units. So everything slows down after that. It's just,
for sure.
The
But the
fact
thing
that
is,
he don't understand that, it's crazy.
It's not going to get it's not going to face the same trajectory as the other gens because your console prices are too high, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Traditionally, they get lower, right? So you get that
Yeah.
uptake in growth. But again, like everybody's going to be facing these headwinds. The thing
that's the other thing.
Yeah, and Xbox has had quarter after quarter after quarter for like the last 2-3 years, 4, right? Like they had it even when times were good.
Yeah,
they had negative numbers.
Just to give and P-Lump, just to give you another example. Shout out to Eric, the producer, sent me this information right now. Nintendo minus 76%, PS5 minus 19%, Xbox plus 86% for the month of June, and Xbox still sold the least amount.
Yeah. What happened
of the three. So my point is like even as you have a positive, you need to do much more. It's the positive isn't against the two others. The positive is against your year over year, right? So it's one of those situations. It's not just one's up, one's down. Haha, we won this one. It doesn't really work that way. Maybe it does for the very first quarter outside of the first, when the generation launched. If you want to really kind of point a finger, but not now. You can't say that you sold 100 million consoles. Here we go. Here it is. There it is. It's okay. How's Marathon doing? Where's Concord? How's Redfall doing? Everybody can. That's just ridiculous. All right, P-Lump, come on. You were starting off so strong.
Bungie was a disaster.
It's not. What happened to Double Fine? What happened to Ninja Theory? P-Lump.
Yep.
What happened to, what happened to all those companies? What happened to Compulsion Games? Where's Hi-Fi Rush 2? What happened to Tango Gameworks? We can play that game all day. But yeah, real quick, I do want to ask you guys this question, kind of changing it over a bit to Cory Balrog comes out and confirms that the next God of War title after LaFay will star Kratos. And I think this is big, right? Because a lot of people were worried, Jay, that, LaFay is going to take this in the wrong direction and it's not going to. This is all part of that ever-growing story and taking you from that. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong here. It's not like Corey didn't give me a call. But we're going from that Norse to is it Egyptian now mythology? Is that correct?
It's a combination of the different gods.
But my point, and I don't know if I'm saying it right or not. But my point being is like this is something that I'm hoping a lot of people are excited for because I think it's going to be an interesting story. I'll be honest with you too. I think sometimes voice actors are big, and so I've watched The Boys a million times. So I think it's Jack Quaid, and him being it. I think that's awesome. And I've watched Daredevil 150 times on repeat too. And to see that actress in there as the lead, I don't know. I think you got highly talented Hollywood actors and actresses. You got Corey's overlooking it as lead of creative, and now this is just going to add a story to what will be an unbelievable return to Kratos. I'm very excited for LaFay. I mean, I think it's going to be great.
So the new Kratos game, that's going to be in the same world as LaFay, right? Or is it going to happen post?
I believe
because they're in the based on the trailers, it looks like in LaFay that she's in the same time period as Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Or sorry, the first one.
2018. Yeah. So
2018. Yeah.
LaFay, that happens in 2018 all the way through Ragnarok, and basically you're when she dies and Kratos and Atreus go through the story, like she's in the afterworld or the other world or
Yeah,
whatever, and so she's playing that, and every now and then their world kind of collide, and stuff like that. And if you think back, there were parts in God of War 2018 where things happen or you saw something that didn't quite pan out, but now you get to put two and two together and stuff like that.
yeah.
Like
It's like
Kratos helped her and pulled her out, and I think she's been guiding Kratos and Atreus the whole time, and so it's gonna be great, and it didn't take long for us to play it, right? Because it's coming out in February, so it's freaking exciting, and yeah,
Do you guys think that like so? I think that they're trying to build up the whole God of War universe, right? And I think a lot of people online or even
yep.
the analysts have said that. To your point, Jay, earlier about Xbox using the same old IPs, do you think that you'll get God of War fatigue if you got like an Atreus game and then you got like I don't know, just Mimir or something, right? Like who knows who
Okay,
they add?
so here's the thing. Um, not like when you look at Uncharted 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then they said, all right, enough, right?
Yeah,
Okay, give us
Hey,
God of
you
War
can't be forgetting
2018,
about
give
Lost
us
Legacy.
yeah, well, I know, but you kind of you kind of actually proved my point too, right? They gave you 5 games, right? A couple of smaller games. They gave you that, and then they were like on to the next thing.
yeah.
And that way you didn't really get fatigued. If they would have kept on with the same stuff, we would have been looking at Uncharted, how we look at, Halo, Gears, and sometimes Forza, right? Like, so, it's you can like revive it, make it fresh. You just give it the same stuff over and over and over. That base is going to leave. They're gonna, get old and move on to something new, or like right now we're talking about, like, when we mention Gears, right? How many old Gears of War fans are there left?
Mm.
Like how many, probably us back here, but none of my kids care about Gears of War, and most young people, younger gamers, they don't, you know. So I mean, how much is there left? Look at Halo. Same with Halo. The only people that know Halo is the old heads. After that,
Well,
like, you have
listen,
to make it fresh. And if Sony would have kept on with that hack and slash, it would have dated. It would have just ended up where they just canceled it. Studio would have been done, and that's it.
you know what? The funny thing is, the cup Halo did have a refresh. It was called Destiny, and it was great.
There you go. There you
The
Mm.
go.
cup, the
There you
company
go. Yep.
that made Halo
Yep.
went
Microsoft
on
didn't want it.
didn't
No, we
want that
want you
they
to make
didn't
Halo.
they
Yep.
wanted to make Halo, and I kept telling everybody when I played Destiny, I was like, Destiny was like the next evolution of
The
what
next evolution.
Halo should have been.
Yep.
And just like
Mhm.
you said, nobody could take away the thought that Naughty Dog had when they went from Uncharted to Last of Us. It was like,
Yeah.
yes, we miss Uncharted, but Last of Us was the first one was so good.
Yep.
And that's all it really
Mm.
takes. It just takes, everybody is kind of afraid of that unknown. You're leaving the thing that you know to go to something new, but then if you really knock that new thing out of the park, then you become
Mhm.
legendary. And that's kind
Yeah.
of and then
Yeah.
that's kind of where that thought with them came from. And like I said, with Bungie, outside of all the stuff that's happened over the course of the last couple of years and stuff, the pivot to go from a Halo game to a more open environment type looter game where multiple people can play together in a huge sandbox like Destiny is kind of the next pivot for that. And Halo
Mhm.
just kind of just stayed what Halo always has been.
Yep.
And that's the unfortunate thing. Not to say that it can't be better. It's just that it had a chance to be more than what it was. But like you said, Microsoft decided that the company that was making the game initially, they wanted them to only make that game, and that was kind of the thing that broke it for them.
Yeah.
I think that's like obviously Santa Monica. Sorry, not Naughty Dog does pivot, right? They do their handful of games in the series and they're going to move on. They did it with Uncharted. it seems like they're pretty much done with The Last of Us. You might get one more game, right? If everything works out. But like Santa Monica has just been God of War. They're doing the trilogy again.
Yeah.
They're doing LaFay. They're doing this new Kratos game. So like I worry a little bit that they'll burn it out. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, they have a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And I didn't mean to. The biggest thing with them, the only reason I can say I agree with you to an extent, you know, because fatigue can be a thing, but the God of War franchises, and that's my favorite. This is the reason I own a PlayStation. So I'm kind of speaking from more of a fanboy side of it too, because that's the reason I literally own as a PS5 is for God of War. But it's so many different places they can go with God of War. They started with the Norse mythology, then now we're in the, I mean, they started with Greek Norse, and now we're in Greek. So they can go and pivot to different places.
They started with Greek, and then they went Norse.
Yeah, started with Greek,
now
they went Norse,
Now they're going,
Is it the new one, the Egyptian?
Yeah,
it's Egyptian,
it's Egyptian now. So it's like, yes, it's familiar. Yes, it's kind of something that people are kind of familiar with, but the atmosphere.
Yeah, see, I agree with Forte. Yeah.
All of that stuff kind of changes. And so that's the thing that a franchise that is in a world like this, also a world like Halo, the fact that they could go back and do things like talk about the first Contact Wars and stuff like that, things that they haven't really dove into in the game.
You know, that's true. They need more ODST and more reach. Like, get out of that mainstream.
And in my opinion, Reach is by far the best campaign.
A lot of people,
of all of them.
A lot of people agree with you.
It doesn't have Master Chief in it. It's because it was a contained story that takes place before the original Halo, and everybody knows how that turned out. And you got to see it live, and you got to see it from the developer make their best version of their game, which was the last Halo game they made.
Yeah, I think what you said was interesting, and a lot of people in the audience are agreeing with you, Forte. They're saying how this LaFay is going to be able to really it widens the road for story and where they're going to go. And Ledger, you said you were concerned about like burning out. You've got the first 3 games being remade, right? And that's going to bring back a ton of nostalgia and a ton of purchasing from a lot of fans, right? They're going to buy that. Then you have this that's going in another direction here with new characters, new this, new that. They're not just sticking with the same thing, running through the same world, fighting a new Greek god. It's a new this, it's a new that. They like you said, they had Mimir. They did everything with that aspect. And Atreus, and now we're going here, and we'll see how this opens up for Kratos after this. Like, it's just like, I think this is like prime storytelling. You know what I mean? I think this is really, really good. I understand a lot of people are going to say they don't like it. That's fine. You don't have to like it. I get it. I really do. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks like it's going to be, pretty damn good.
The phase gameplay looks amazing.
I agree.
It's different than the first 2, right? So it looks really good.
Right. P-Lump. Go ahead, Jay.
I was just going to say, I think it's going to sell more than Ragnarok.
Jay,
I can see that.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, you've got, again, I say this, and I look at some people may say, oh, I didn't care for. They've got Jack Quaid, he tweets like crazy when this thing comes out. He's got millions of followers. She's got millions of followers. She's from the Daredevil series. Like, people know who she is. She's talking it up, the whole 9. I think that plus the amazing gameplay, the writing, the world, I think is going to be fantastic. And like I say, how they're going to, they've already tied Kratos. Kratos has already come into this, which was just a segment. Kratos is going to be in parts of it. I don't think you'll play as him. I don't know. I have no idea. But he's going to be in it. Bespoke says, P-Lump says nobody wants this God of War. Then Bespoke says, LaFay takes place during both games and will show us how and why certain things happen. The ending will likely set Kratos off to his next pantheon. Shout out to Bespoke. P-Lump says, no, just no buy. P-Lump comes back, says, what's going on with no disc, no buy? P-Lump, you're like, You'd be the bad news podcast. We already talked about the protest. Oh God, P-Lump. Man. I hope you play video games, buddy. But yeah, I don't know. I think that this has got the opportunity to really kind of open things up. I think it can really open things up. Now, the Cube, they're gonna have to sell me on the Cube, the Jack Quaid character. They got to sell me on that one.
I think the Cube is actually gonna be good.
I do too, but I got to see more of it. I'm gonna go in with an open mind, but you know what I mean, Ledger? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that it's gonna first when you start playing with it, you're gonna think it's a little ridiculous, but over time it's gonna grow on you. Jack Quaid's voice and the character of the Cube is gonna it's your traditional Sony game where the sidekick grows on you in one way or the other, right? Like Atreus in the first game, I didn't like him playing beside him, and then eventually with the storyline and stuff, it just got better. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I can't play this game without Atreus there. It's a different dimension. It's a different character. It changes the arc. So I think that's what we're gonna get with this Cube. As stupid as it might seem on the surface, I think with the writing, it could do some stuff where at the end of the game you're like, oh, it was amazing, that Cube, and you get an affinity for the character.
Yeah,
possibility.
And that's what I'm hoping for. The same thing goes for Mimir. I thought Mimir was awesome. Now, I don't know if you can control the Cube in this game or you're not going to be able to, but having Mimir there in the story, you got into the boat and Mimir just starts telling you all this lore. That was awesome. And then you got out of the boat and he's like, oh, well, yeah. And he's like, then you get out of the boat and he's like, oh, we'll talk about it later. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, it was kind of cool. It's an interesting perspective. Again, I'm not saying everybody has to like it. I thought it was done very well. I really enjoyed God of War 2018 and Ragnarok. 2018, of course, had that shock factor, right? Wow, they really changed it. Ragnarok didn't have quite that shock factor, but here we are. Look what it's metamorphosized itself into. Some people, I think a lot of people that are complaining about it will probably still play it. I think this game will do pretty well. I really do. I think it'll do pretty well. February's stacked. February's already stacked. You got 3 big games. I think Fable's coming out in February. LaFay comes out in February, and there's another big one. 3.
Final Fantasy?
No. No, it's not Final Fantasy. There's another big one that's coming out.
I read something earlier today. I just forgot.
Forte, you got the list, don't you? Forte might know. He's got a whole list there. He's got the inside word. I will do this.
It's like Fable, right? You got Fable.
Fable. There's LaFay, and then I don't have the list in front of me.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about February.
Oh, in February.
So 2027 games. Let me just see if what immediately. Oh, the Tomb Raider: Legacy of Atlantis.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, and Pokemon if you're.
And that's not my bag, but I'll tell you right now, a lot of people are going to buy that.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, this is a small census. I just put it up real quick. I put it up 2 minutes ago.
Oh, sorry. Pokemon's actually. I was looking at 2026.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Are you buying God of War, LaFay? 73% said yes. Only 60 voted. I just put it up real quick, but I'm in the poll. 60. That's 73 said yes. 27% said no. So Mr. Huck says Deborah Ann Wool is playing her. That's the actress that was in Daredevil as well. She's a Dungeons and Dragons nerd. Dude, the excitement she has on stage. There's certain people that do games and they're voice actors or they're actresses. And, they're like, oh, I really had a good time. She's excited about this. So I'm with you, Mr. Huck. I think she's on board for this. Well, I will do this. The Great Gaming Forte joined us. I want to say thanks to everybody that was here tonight. We did. Shout out to Eric, the producer. I think he had the over-under at, I think he was over 3 hours. I thought we were going to do 2.5 tonight, especially without Nib. If Nib was here tonight, I got news for you guys. We would be endorsed by Red Bull. This show would have ended around 7 a.m. New York time. I will say this, though. Great having everybody here. I'm going to say thank you and shout out to the panel that's still here. I'll give a shout out at the end as well to the ones that had to leave early. But what a great show, guys. And also, listen, and P-Lump, I want to say to P-Lump and everybody out there sliming you guys in the chat, I appreciate you guys being here and I appreciate your takes. I really do. I really do. I think it's great. That's the whole point of Crossfire is to go back and forth. But you got to go over and check out the first hour of the show where we talked a lot about the PlayStation protest and what's going on with that and what's going to happen with the no buy at the end of August. But great to have everybody here tonight. Mary, thank you. She says, well, give Red Bull gives us wings. Mary, you have no idea. And if Nib comes back next week, I got news for you. He's got a lot of family stuff going on, he said, but if he's able to join us next week, we're going to need Red Bull and Monster drinks. Let me go in reverse order and say shout out to the great gaming Forte. Listen, you guys do a fantastic job. I told Shlomo this last time on DPS, but we got to get more Forte. Okay, that's how you get gold records. More Forte. So I need more Forte. So if you could ever make it Forte, I'll hit you up every once and again. But if DPS is not happening for some reason on a Thursday, just jump in here. Even if you don't, just exactly like tonight, just join the show. It's great to have you, buddy. Let everybody know where they can find you, and please join us again very soon.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's Gaming Forte on YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation. DPS did get canceled. The homie Slow-Mo was out of the weather today, so I was just sitting here on my PC. I always listen to you guys before we go live anyway. So I just have to just don't be saying anything in the chat. But y'all are having such a good conversation. I just had to jump in here,
yes, sir,
and do whatever. But no, I appreciate it. As always, Crossfire is always home. I really appreciate the love and support, and always miss you guys. But with that being said, check us out. DPS will be tomorrow at 9 p.m. On the DPS gaming channel. So come check us out then. Other than that, you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the games you're playing, and have fun out there.
Thank you, Forte. Appreciate you. The great gaming Ledger, thanks for being here, buddy. I would like to have you on even more, Ledger. I know you have a very difficult schedule, but you know what? Listen, when you're here, we really enjoy it. If we get you more often, that's even better. But Ledger, let people know where they can find you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem. You can find me at the Gaming Ledger on X. I'm probably gonna look at the on Friday. I'll probably do a little write up there. Like, all my content is mostly business based, right? So like anybody that wants to come at me for not being an Xbox fan or whatever, do understand it's just looking at the business numbers. But so I'll probably do something on Sony because their financials are coming up, and then I wanted to start writing a little bit more this weekend about like I saw the EA news that came out about them going private and how going private helps companies that are creative sometimes, and I'll just give some examples. So like those are the two things I'm looking to do. But if you're interested in what I'm going to write about, follow me at the Gaming Ledger.
Awesome, Ledger. Thank you so much. And guys, go over and follow Ledger, because to be honest with you, he does great work. He really does look at the numbers, analyzes them, and gives, his opinion. Gives his opinion. Some facts, some opinion. That's what it's all about. Ledger, thanks for being here. The great J-Dub City has been with us all night long. Jay, thank you as always, buddy. It is just a lot of fun. Me and Jay, actually, you know what? We game a lot, but we got to game some more, buddy. Let me know this weekend. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit busy, but Saturday and Sunday, if you shine the Mooch logo, I will be there, buddy. Great to have the great J-Dub City with us as always. And if you're not following him on Twitter, you're doing yourself in I don't know why you have Twitter, to be honest with you, if you're not following Jay. Jay, let people know they can find you, buddy, and thanks for being here tonight.
Anytime, man. Anytime. You guys can find me on Twitter at JDubCity16. Trying to keep you guys laughing. I'll be honest, man. It's not the same, Mooch, man. It's this everybody left, man. There's nobody to fight and beat up anymore. It's
everybody left.
Waved the white flag. They went to PC or PlayStation.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Halo, Gears, and Forza on PlayStation, so it's just it doesn't have quite that element anymore. But for the jokes.
You say that, but I still love every single post you make, Jay. It's great. It's a lot of fun, man. So don't stop doing what you do. Shout out to the great J-Dub City. A couple shout outs real quick. Wise Old Gamer, guys, go over and check him out. Wasted with Wise, Friday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern time. D-Batch, that's D-Batch, the tech guy. He does a lot of technical videos. Go over and check him out on YouTube. He's fantastic. Like I said, Nib will be back next week. DS will be back next week, too. Shout out to DS. We missed both those guys. Great additions to the show. And as well, the great Wolfgang Machinima. He is over there doing right now the Lord's work on Tekken. So go over and follow him over there as well. Again, great show. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you to the chat. Please, guys, hit the like button on the way out. There's still 191 of you here after 3 hours, 32 minutes, and 191 likes would really go a long way right now. So if you guys don't mind hitting that button, it means the world to me. We'll see you guys over on twitch.tv, Mooch TV. Drop the O's for zeros, M00CHTV on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. We're going to be over there, and we're going to be doing, I think we're going to do some, we still have a little Halo fever, so we're going to do a little Halo Infinite to start it off. But we've got a full lineup going as we go into August. We'll see you next Thursday here on Crossfire, 7 p.m. Eastern. As always, peace out. Good night. Go play some games. We'll see you on Saturday.
Peace.
Oh, but I think I paid.